Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be here. Welcome to the greatest footy podcast in the Perth metropolitan area. It's Barely Touched Him, episode 17, boys. We're at 17.
We are.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
It's a very underrated number in AFL jumpers, I think.
I was going to try and
number
squeeze in a very inappropriate joke there, but I think
About the age
just,
of consent or something like that.
I think I'll just hold on to it.
It's better that you didn't, I think. It's better that you didn't. But underrated jersey number, I was looking this up before the pod.
Interesting.
Famous number 17s, arguably the most underrated player of all time, Michael Tuck from Hawthorn.
Yes.
7 flags he's got. 7 flags.
Misely, very misely.
The great
flag.
Jack Dyer, number 17.
I love Jack Dyer.
Obviously, Josh Kennedy. Jock McHale wore the number 17 playing for Collingwood. It was only for about 40 games, but he did win a flag. And, of course, the great Billy Frampton. I am your host, Benry. I am joined by my broadcast colleagues. Colleague the first. It's our podcast answer to the question, who stole me darts? It's Corey Daffin.
Hey, I don't smoke darts anymore, but yes,
But
very
if
accurate.
someone were to steal them,
Yeah.
it would
It
be
would be me,
yourself.
yeah.
And colleague the second, representing the People's Republic of Bangladesh, it's Monty Kanunga.
Hello.
Yes.
Stuart
Very
do
good.
number 17 as well.
He was. Wait, for
at this.
Port or
For
for the
Port.
Hawks?
For
Yeah,
Port. See,
I like
This
it.
is what he brings. Just
There-
the snap knowledge.
Well,
I love
Stewie
it.
Jew's under the pump at the minute.
Yes,
And
he is.
I
I'm very sad. We'll get into it, but I'm very. Oh, I'm not sad. I'm disappointed with that
Oh,
game.
that's worse.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in the players
Yes.
for letting Stewie
Yes,
down. I'm not disappointed in Stewie.
Yeah, a win there. We will get into it.
We
but
will
a-
get into
a
it. We
win
will
there
get
would have
into
been
the
amazing.
results. It's been a kind of a slow news week. We were just discussing this before in footy, but there were some games, and I will eventually throw to you, Monty, if you want to get the old
I'm
preparatory phone out for the results. As we know, it's bye round, so there was only 5 or 6 games.
Yep.
What did we have first,
Well,
Monty?
I will just chuck in before we do it.
Of course.
I didn't watch the most footy this week. I caught a few games, but
You were abroad.
well, counterintuitively, I was in Melbourne, which means
Yes.
you would think that I would catch more because it's the home of football.
It is the home of football,
But
the Mecca.
I didn't get to see much.
Yeah,
So
you're a busy man.
Oh,
You're
I'm very busy,
out
very
and
busy,
about,
very
out and
busy.
about. So, what was
Anyway.
the first game, Monty?
First game was Thursday night footy. The Port Adelaide Footy Club.
The power.
The power.
They've done it again.
Versus the Geelong Cats.
110 to 72
Great
in the
win.
end.
Great win.
Huge win. And they just keep going from strength to strength. Are they going to fucking lose? Who have they got next week?
that's 11 in a row.
We've got a bye this week. Then we've got Essendon
Well, they're
next
not going
week.
to lose that. And then Essington after that.
So
And
that's 11 or 12 in a row there.
11.
the 11 in a row. And that Port Essington game is
boy.
shaping to be a bit of a humdinger.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. But this game, I don't know why I tipped Geelong. It was pure vibes. It was pure
I heard that
I
last
think Porter
week, yeah.
overdue for a loss. That was it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, why the fuck? I'm watching this going, why did I tip him? Why did I tip him?
thought they
Ben,
would
I'm just
be
going
close
to interrupt there. You've tipped Port.
Oh, did I tip Port?
Yeah, by,
okay.
by
well,
22 and Alira the best player.
Well, I've forgotten. How much did they win by?
38.
38. So I was close, actually. Forget what I said. I tipped the right answer, and I'm a fucking genius. Alira wasn't quite best on ground.
it's got to go to my boy Finlayson, surely.
No.
Oh, Houston was very
Dan
good.
Houston.
Yeah,
Houston
Houston
got, 31 touches, I think. Like, just
31 and a goal and
Yeah.
8 score involvements.
he's a beautiful kick, Dan Houston. And he's one of those players. I did my if you follow me on TikTok, you will have seen my All Australian mid-year selection video. I did my team up, and I had Houston on the bench, but it's not to say that he's like worse than any player on the field. I just think that he's a Mr. Fix-It that you can have off of the bench. You play him on a wing.
nice utility.
Yeah, utility.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
you could play him in the guts. You could play him in forward. You could play him in
A lot of
like,
teams
back
are
pocket.
a lot of teams are lacking that utility player. It used to be quite a traditional role.
It just
as
used to be
utility.
a taller guy, I think.
Yeah.
Now it's a utility player is like your sort of 6-foot-ish, great kick, can run, versatile sort of operator. And Dan Houston is that, I reckon.
He is currently the most damaging halfback in the game.
Oh, have you ever heard of Nicky Dacos?
No, Nick Dacos is ranked 2.
Have you heard of? Oh,
Yeah,
so we're
I'm
going
not
with
even-
champion data.
Champion
He's officially
data,
okay.
officially.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
right,
don't know
okay.
about champion data.
I don't know about champion data either. He'd have to be top 5. He would be top 5.
I'd say
like
top
it'd
3.
be Dacos, the Lizard. It'd be
Yeah, Lizard,
Houston,
for sure.
Sinclair, and
I think Jack Sinclair's 3rd.
and Redmond. I reckon those would be my 5.
Redmond?
They'd round out
Yeah,
your 5.
dude, the Red
Yeah.
Dog is on fire.
I think
He
they'd
was on
round out
fire.
5.
So, any other thoughts on this game, Monty? As
Well,
our
we could
resident
probably touch back on it a bit later
in,
on.
is Monty okay? What
Yep.
was the next game and score, Monty?
The
What
next,
did we have?
Next game was Brisbane versus Sydney.
Yes.
The flat track bullies were back at the
Now,
Gabba.
Back at the Gabba.
I think I missed this one.
Yeah, 97-81 was the final scoreline. Brisbane getting it done. Sydney showed some signs of promise.
They did.
They
They did.
had some good passages of play, but Brisbane just too good on their home deck.
yeah, I watched. I was in and out on this one. I did see
Yeah.
a little bit of it.
I thought that their midfield, Brisbane, obviously, the Gabba, Brisbane, Dunkley and Neil are going to go off. Like Neil, I think, has had the most games in a row out of any player with 4 clearances or more. I think I might be
That's
paraphrasing
unreal.
that stat,
Yeah.
but he is a clearance beast. His disposal efficiency was really good. Dunkley was insane. They were just really good. And Keaton Coleman had a good game as well.
He's your fella, isn't he, Keaton?
I was backing him to have a much better year than he's had at the start of the year.
You're quite frustrated in fantasy.
But
I
he
seem to
got
recall.
I drafted him early. He was on my. I was
Yeah,
starting him on the field, but he got an early concussion and had some injury stuff.
That'll throw a
And
spanner
he
in.
hasn't really come back from it. But this game, he was back to it. He had like 20 odd touches and good kicking performance.
He could have a good second half of the year, or at least bounce back next
It could,
year.
and I feel like Sydney. This is a write-off season. They're not gonna make finals. I don't
There's
think.
a few write-offs in my opinion.
But
I put a line through these guys.
They've
already.
had a lot of you had the very hot take before, but it was correct. You put a line through them, and history has favoured you. But I reckon Sydney, like, they're not a bad team to watch, even in these losses.
No.
They still do some things each game where you're like, yeah, that was good
Tom
footy.
Papley,
Like,
yeah.
Tom Papley.
So-
I like the look of young. Sorry, you go. You
No,
go,
no,
Colin.
no. You
They've
finish.
got that young guy. There's this small forward. They've got Hayward. Is it Hayward or is it someone else? I forget
Will
his
Hayward,
name.
yeah.
I think Will Hayward is a player I enjoy.
Errol
watching
is
for
going
the
to be
Swans.
fantastic going.
Errol's
to play.
great.
So before we get off Sydney and Brisbane, I seem to recall a few weeks ago I was denigrating one Tom Hickey for being quite ugly.
I called you out on it
yes,
because
yes,
I don't
yes,
think
yes.
he's that ugly.
He's very ugly.
No, I think
I'm
the
not
stock
backing-
photo that AFL.com has for Tom Hickey is
I've seen
not
other,
a good photo.
I've seen
got
other
deer eyes.
photos.
He's got deer eyes in the photo.
Yeah, like a goat.
From a distance,
soulless. Yeah.
he's quite rakishly good looking. I think.
Oh,
Like,
I don't know about that.
He needs a
In
beard.
any case,
He needs a beard.
I'm not
Yeah.
backtracking on those comments. I'm just going to add in another one to bring his stock back from ugly to ugly and accomplished. So it's
All right. So I don't know if he's available, ladies, but this is what you need
so
to
as
consider.
there was a debut for that game for the game in question.
Yes.
Jack Buller. So that gives Tom Hickey a history total of 195 total teammates that he's played with across 4 clubs in 13 seasons. It's the most of any current player. Paddy Ryder, who played 16 seasons across 3 clubs, was the last to have over 200.
Oh, Paddy!
With 202 before he retired.
That's a great stat.
And the VFL AFL record holder for playing teammates.
Let
is-
me hold on. Don't tell me
Go
who.
on.
For most
Do you want me
teammates
to tell you what
played
team?
against- Yeah, tell me what team.
It was St Kilda. Oh. And it wasn't recent.
Wait, so is this the last team he played for, or was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The other team
And
he
it
played
wasn't recent, so we're talking 80s or 90s.
back.
Oh,
Back.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, I don't think you'll get it.
I don't
It's
think
quite
I'll get it,
obscure.
but,
it was 299 teammates across 17
Who is
seasons
it?
and just 2 clubs. He played 15 seasons of those at St Kilda in the 60s.
What?
In the period where they had an extraordinary high rate of turnover.
Okay, who was it?
Wells Ike.
Never heard of him.
No, me neither.
Literally never heard of him.
No, me neither.
What a great first name in Wells.
Yeah. So if Tom Hickey can play for a little bit longer, then he's got every chance of overtaking Paddy.
Well, they've got a lot of young crop coming in Sydney with their academy, so you'd think that number would.
There's a big list of every single player he's played with. There's some great players.
He's a legend, Tom Hickey.
Yeah. If he wasn't
what
so
are the
ugly.
4 clubs that he was in?
It was Gold Coast first.
Gold Coast.
Then
Was it
West
Gold
Coast?
Coast first for Tom Hickey?
he's played for St Kilda,
Yes, St Kilda, West Coast briefly,
and now Sydney.
Yeah,
I
now
think
Sydney.
those are
I
the
think
teams.
maybe
Pretty
Gold
sure
Coast
that's
was
correct.
first.
I think it was Gold Coast.
In any case, that's apologies, Tom Hickey, for calling you ugly. That's a great step.
I think you're a very handsome old man, Tom. Next up, Monty, what was the next game?
The next game was GWS versus Fremantle.
Oh, this was a shellacking.
Absolutely
I turned this
dismal.
one off.
Oh
I
my
turned this one off.
This
I
was such a
turned it off.
boring game of football.
I turned it off early and then turned it back on to see if it was any
shake
better.
your head and go, oh, please,
And it wasn't. It was worse.
It was the worst game they've played all year.
You
by
wanna
a
know-
long, by a
You
long
want to know
shot,
something?
Freo.
These days, I'm only putting on one, maybe 2 multis a weekend.
Yeah.
And
Same here, actually.
For not
yeah.
a lot. For not a lot. Like 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, $5.
Yeah.
But crafting this multi, I thought, God damn it, you are a genius. This is coming in. This is coming in hot.
Did you have Freo to win by like 40?
No, I had him to 1 to 39, but just
Yeah.
all the other ones I had in there, it's like, this is fucking great.
Oh, you are a
And then
genius. Monty.
10 minutes in,
Delightfully
10
devilish
minutes in,
Seymour.
I've just turned it off. I'm like, this is fucked.
Funny
I
you
don't know
should say that.
fucking anything
It's
about
funny you
footy.
should say that because I am aware. I won't say how I know this information, but I am aware.
Oh, here we go. We've had some
statistic-
dubious.
Well, statistically speaking, multi-wise,
Yes.
right? GWS are the most consistent to hitting their multi-targets. Particularly their 15 pluses and their like anytime goals. They're
Okay,
really good.
we do not gamble responsibly,
Gamble
of course.
responsibly.
We don't
we don't
endorse it.
condone you
know your
endorse
limits.
it.
putting
Okay.
your house on, let's say, who's someone.
Oh, Finn Callahan, 15 plus.
Finn Callahan, 15 plus. Do not put $100 on it.
And
We would
Toby
never
Green,
tell you to
3
do
plus.
that.
Don't-
Toby
don't.
Green, 3+ goals. Do not do it. Don't open Sportsbet and do it right now. I would never recommend that. Next game.
Can I?
Lenny's just taking my head out of the game here. He was staring at me.
The beautiful dog Lenny Pugs just come outside. He's so fucking cute.
He is.
Yeah. Next up, it was. Oh, have you got another thing? Have you got another thing?
I just want to say one thing. Are Freo done?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think they're done.
Someone's going to end up.
They went
eighth,
down
right?
and then
No
came back
one's
up.
done yet, except like
Sydney.
Sydney Carlton.
Well, listen. This
Yeah.
is what happened to them. They lost Sean Darcy, and then without Sean Darcy for one game, Luke Jackson seemed all right.
Yeah.
And they've come into this game and got absolutely slapped.
Yes.
And I think it's an absolute symptom of not having Darcy there. Like
Yeah.
the
So
whole
Luke
game
Jackson-
plan is
So Luke Jackson played centre. He played right, mainly.
oh, I can't remember. was
I
very
just
drunk.
turned off most of this game.
Yeah. It was
I
boring.
turned off
You
most
would
of this
imagine
game.
you would imagine it would have
But
been
GWS
most of
don't
it.
have a no-name ruck, right?
Yeah, it's what's his name?
They call him Shane Mumford Jr. They call
Yeah,
him
he's thick.
the son.
I know
He's
he's.
a big
I know
boy.
he's thick. I can't even remember his name. Forgive me. It's off the top of my head.
Something.
What's his name? If we tap
Hang on,
this,
let's go in there.
If we
I'll
tap
have a look
this
at
and go
that.
to the stats,
Wait, it's
I've
not
got
Nank, is it? No, that's Richmond.
Nank is Richmond, and also big candidate for a segment we've got later on in the pod. It's just going to plug this for later. It is not adopt your boy; it's adopt
I might
something
switch to him.
else. We are. In a matter of speaking, being adopted.
But look,
by,
I
by
think
a
their
parent.
whole game plan is based around Sean Darcy being the best hit out ruckman
Kieran
in
Briggs.
the league.
Oh,
there you go.
Briggsy,
Yeah.
of course
Yeah.
it's Briggsy.
He's at the top of the free agent pile in fantasy
he?
every week.
Yeah. Someone takes him and then loses him every. It's like fuck. He's got 60. He's dead to me. I'm stuck with Oscar McInerney and Todd Goldstein, and they're both actually playing quite well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, if anyone needs a ruckman like that, I could be persuaded.
Todd Goldstein's durable.
I
He's
could be
good.
persuaded. He's a very durable
I've got
man.
4 rucks.
You're
ruckman.
hoarding them. You're
Yeah.
a ruck hoarder.
Yeah, it was my
Good commodity to have in
yeah.
fantasy.
Well, that was my idea from the start, and no one's gotten one off me yet.
Yeah. That's true. All right, next game. What was it after the GWS Freo game?
After that, I just want to touch back on the Lions. The Lions are going to have. So we're playing the flat track bully thing.
Yes.
If they don't end up top 2, they're gone.
The Lions end up top 2.
No, if the Lions end up top 2, it's the only way that they could probably get to a grand final. And having said that, what's their record? Like 48-4 at the Gabba, and 2 of the 4 are prelim finals that they've lost.
Yeah, it's not
Do you know what I mean?
great, but that makes me think like, surely this is not something that can continue. Surely they're a good enough team to just actually, like, can they win the flag?
No.
Can they win the
actually don't
flag,
think-
the Brisbane Lions?
No, I actually don't think, and that's not because I think they're boring, but
Sorry, can we? The Geelong game was the first one that we touched on, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we? There's something quite large we forgot to touch on.
What did we forget
for
to
that
Should we
touch on?
just stop and restart this whole episode?
No, look.
What did we forget, Corey?
I
What
just
did we
want to
forget?
touch on it. Patrick Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah, he punctured lung.
That massive hit in the second quarter.
Yes.
Two broken rigs and a semi-deflated lung, which
Yeah.
later collapsed. And he played out the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's a fucking specimen, Paddy Dangerfield.
That is a we haven't seen something as hard as that in quite some time. Perhaps
I think
The
he got
89.
taken in the
perhaps
fourth.
Darling playing with a broken arm was
Yeah, but
something,
like you can. I think Dangers was more painful.
Yes,
like, I think that would have
100%.
been absolutely
If
more
you've
painful.
ever broken a rib or
It is
collapsed a
sharp,
lung,
sharp.
it's
pain.
bad. It's really
very, very bad.
That's
Very
what
bad.
you
So, yeah,
get.
shouts
That's
out.
what you get for taking on Dan Houston.
Shouts out, Danger.
was it Houston that he
Houston
hit?
didn't hit him. He actually got pushed into him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
because
he
he's
got
made
right
of
under.
granite,
Yeah,
Dan
okay,
Houston.
sorry, but
what
not
did we
bringing
have
that up.
next? It was...
Next, sorry, Joel.
Sorry, Joel, and shouts out. Joel is not here this week.
Joel's
He's
not here.
feeling crook.
Yeah,
but
hang
it
on.
was...
If you're watching the video feed, crook.
Yeah, crook.
Oh, I
He's crook.
Oh, Monty, I can't do the podcast because I'm crook. Can you fill in for me, please?
Are you
This
sure
was the
it's not
reason he didn't
because-
come. The Tigers beating the Saints by 20 points,
That's
90
right.
plays 70.
Very wet
in
game.
torrential rain?
I loved watching this. This
Yeah.
was my favourite game to watch of the round.
This was at the G, and I was
Yeah.
I was an hour and a half away from the G.
and just getting bucketed on.
I just wished that I was there.
Yeah. Just in a poncho with a beer that was 50% rainwater.
That's
just
right.
like, this is sick. Give it to me. Give it to me. I remember one of the best games not best, but like was fun. I went there by myself to see Collingwood Freo, and it pissed down with rain, and I was like 3 rows from the front, just in a poncho by myself.
Yeah, hell
Just
yeah.
watching, like, this is great. It's
good.
I went to a game in Port Adelaide and Richmond at the old Amy Park,
Yeah.
and it was Port supporters listening will know this game. It was from like 2010, 2011, the dark years, and we got pumped by it. Was like our 140th anniversary or whatever, and we got pumped by like 90 or 100 points.
Oh, Jesus.
And I ended up with hypothermia. I actually
No
was.
way.
I sat in the rain, endured all that, and then everyone went back. There was a big celebration thing in Alberton, even though there was nothing to celebrate about.
Yeah,
And that-
we just got done.
but they got done. But everyone went back to Alberton, massive party, players and sponsors and everything like that. And I'm in the medical tent outside Amy Park.
That's sad.
But
It's
this
very sad.
game,
This game was good. It was a good game to watch.
Taranto and Dusty, they fucking
Yeah, they
turned
lit
it on.
up. They
He's
lit up.
back. He's back.
The amount of I was looking at a stat earlier. The amount of consecutive quarters that Taranto has played with 10 plus.
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
He is a smoky for the Brownlow.
He really
Tim
is.
Taranto.
He is.
Yeah, I think I don't know where these figures and stats are coming from, but I saw an article pop up today that said Taranto and Butters have jumped to the top
They
of the Brownlow thing.
It's
And I
Statistically,
I was
yeah.
thinking about it for a second, like, oh, that's ridiculous. But then
there are
then
a
I
lot
thought
of
about
games,
it.
even
It
though
could
like
be.
in this winning streak that Richmond have got going, they've got 4 or 5. They've won 4 out of the last 6, I believe. Taranto, you'd think would poll 3 in most, if not all of them.
I think it might be 5 from
might be 5.
7.
And then also you've got the fact that I think even in losses,
That's the exact one that I
yeah.
saw.
What do you got there,
Yeah.
Monty?
Taranto versus Butters in the past 7 weeks.
Yep.
Taranto 33.3 disposals, Butters 30.4. Goals, Taranto 11, Butters 6.
That's a big difference
That
to
is a
me.
big difference.
Huge difference.
Huge
So
difference.
hang on, the first 4 is going to be favouring Taranto, and the last 4 are going to be favouring Butters.
Oh, yeah,
So
I see.
disposals favours Taranto by an average of 3.
Yep.
Goals, Taranto's kicked 5. Butters is
5
sharing,
more.
but 5 more personally. But Butters is sharing the load. So
Yes.
him
and Rosie are a bit of a double act.
And
Aren't they?
also, like Port have more avenues to goal
Correct.
and are scoring higher.
Jeremy Finlay's.
Oh, the Finlay.
I'll get into that.
Oh, we'll get into Daddy Finlay, so don't you worry.
Clearances, Taranto edges Butters out 7.7, average to 5.9.
He loves a clearance.
Contested possession, and Taranto's really good at contested. 14.6 to Butters, 12.6. And then it swings the other way. Score involvement was Butters 9, Taranto 6. Inside 50s, Butters 5.7, Taranto 3.4. Meters gained on average, meters gained in total, 518 to Butters 386.
The thing is, the
Taranto.
thing about Taranto is he's a vote grabber because of the
Because
way
who
the
else
way
is gonna
that
take it
the
off
way
him?
that he plays.
He stands out
It's not
so
so much that,
much.
but he can
Yeah.
have 2 guys hanging off of him, one
Yeah.
on his ankles, one on his waist,
And he'll still get a kick
look
away.
around and boom. And,
Yeah.
and it goes to someone. It's
Yeah.
very. I'm trying to think of.
He was like that at GWS as well. Like it's he
I
is
feel like
such
he was
a,
held back at GWS.
Well, they were playing him
Yeah.
off a half or flank, like
Yeah.
when he is a absolute
Pure
midfielder.
Yeah.
He's an inside mid.
He must have a very strong base because he's
does.
consistently having a bloke or 2 hanging off of him and still making good decisions.
This just goes to show, like it's yet another ex GWS player that has just been a gun. Even more so after they left. Like Treloar was good at GWS, better at Collingwood.
Yes.
And now very good at the Dogs.
Did Myercheck not come from GWS?
No, my check we got as a mature age draft
who's
pick.
the other- who's
Adams.
the other-
We got Adams from GWS.
That's right, yeah.
And he had some very good seasons at the Pies
Yeah.
in the midfield as well. They just had so many good inside mids that they didn't know what to do with them. They couldn't fit them all in. You can only fit 3 inside in the contest at the centre bounce
That's
at the one
right.
time.
Yeah.
And it's just another case of one slipping through the cracks. Like Taranto is a gun,
And he hits
absolute
the
gun.
scoreboard, so-
Yep. Next up, we had the Blues beating.
Yeah, the Blues beating the Suns. I just
this one
remembered.
upset me.
I just remembered. Last round of the season
Yes.
is Butters versus Taranto
Oh, there it is. That's going to be huge. Port v Richmond.
at the AO.
The Dimmer Bowl, you might say.
That's
the
right, Dimmer
the
Bowl
Damien
2.0.
Hardwick Cup. Yeah.
It sounds a lot more sinister than it is.
Well,
the Dimmer
that's
Bowl.
because he's smoking bowls at home right now.
100%.
I did love the shots of Dimmer in the crowd.
He was loving it.
He
He
was-
was loving it.
Like you don't often see an ex-coach just in the
Enjoying
crowd having
himself.
a good time
Yeah.
at a game for that team. They often
Yeah.
kind of just move on either to
It's
another
so-
team coaching.
I fucking love Damien Hardwick. I
he's
can't.
great. Yeah, the shots of him in the States watching the
Yeah.
game at the pub.
Yeah.
is unreal.
It just seems like just someone you would want to
Mate,
party with
it's
and have
the
a beer
weed. I
with.
know we joke about it, but it's the weed. Think
just
about it.
more
Think
chill.
about him 5 years
You know,
ago.
imagine how much better of a bloke and like more fun to be around Mick Malthouse would be if he just smoked cones.
Yeah.
And he
this
just
is the
calm
thing.
down.
If you look at the,
listen to Hootie and the Blowfish and have a bong.
He
Yeah,
was
like-
at. I think it was the same game. It was
Yeah, behind
Cochrane's
him-
game.
behind
and he
looked
looked
behind him.
miserable.
He's 3
He
seats
looked
behind him. He
miserable.
looked miserable.
He always looks miserable.
But a question about Dimmer. Do you think it's the chicken or the egg that made him such a scary like character 5 years ago? He genuinely looked angry all the
Yeah.
time, and if you'd think if you met him,
But he played like that.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
that's
an
true.
angry player.
He
So
was
what
a
but what I'm
dog
saying
of a
is,
player.
like he's
Yeah.
had this back issue presumably since he was playing footy.
Oh yeah, it would have been.
Do you think that's what made him pissed off, or was he naturally pissed off and the weeds made him happy?
I think
Is it the chicken
Well,
or the
naturally,
egg?
no, well, naturally, you're paint-
Dimmer was a key defender. He was a backman. So backman by nature back then, you're not a happy bloke playing as a key
No, that's why you're
defender
better
in the
footballers.
early 2000s and the late 90s. You're playing on guys like
That wanna
fucking
belt ya.
Fraser Gehrig
Yeah.
and you know Alan Jakovic and like all of these guys that are gonna belt you in the head from behind in a marking contest and kick 8.
Yeah.
And also your back's fucked. You're going to be upset
It's
a lot of the time.
thankless. It was a thankless time.
It's a thankless job.
This is what
So-
Danny Frawley always campaigned about.
Exactly right. It's a thankless job, golden fist, etc. And it's why when you see a happy defender now, like Darcy Moore is such a very chill and pleasant bloke, and he's
Such
the
a
best
good
key
bloke.
defender in the comp. It's a sign of the times. Times have changed. And it shows that one-on-one matchups make you very, very frustrated and sad and depressed.
Yeah.
You need to roam. You need to go out and get intercept marks. You'll be happier for it. Don't just line up on your bloke and negate him.
Sound like Craig McRae.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, if you need if Justin Lepich is leaving and you need a new assistant coach and he goes to the Tigers, I can
Give him a call flight.
I can be vibes coach. Don't expect me to know the tactics, but
In any case, back to the Suns.
back to the Suns. They got pumped.
This is very disappointing to me because a win here.
Stewie. I feel for Stewie.
I
He
feel
was
for
so
Stewie. It's
heartbroken
not
at
his
half. He
fault.
was
Yeah.
so not
It's
angry.
not
You were
his
right.
fault.
He wasn't angry. He was
A
disappointed.
win here could have been one of the biggest days. Oh, it would have been one of the biggest days in the club history because they haven't been in the 8.
And to go to the
In
G,
the back half of the
to beat a
season.
big club like Carlton, who were in bad form, they'd lost like 6 in a row, was it?
They've lost 8 of the last 9.
8 of the last 9.
So
And-
sorry, Ben.
No, the first quarter was a bit of a shit fight, not an attractive game of footy, but they were up. They were getting on top of the midfield, the Suns. And then the second quarter hits and they just capitulate completely.
The
Like
first quarter they were dominating.
they were fine.
They were
just weren't hitting the
dominating.
scoreboard.
Yeah.
But then the second quarter hits and it's the biggest blitz Carlton have had all year. Like they have never looked that
But
good.
it was really a 1 quarter blitz. That's all it was.
and it never recovered.
Yeah.
They smashed it for 1 quarter, and the scoring was actually quite even. Like after that, but it was such a huge blitz in that second quarter that they were too far and away.
Everyone was kicking goals.
Yeah.
Anyone that got near them.
Yeah. So I think Cherry was kicking.
Chera in that quarter was
Yeah.
hugely dominant.
Yeah.
Like,
So
very, very
for
dominant.
Chera to be kicking goals, good lord.
So,
the
I
eight-
mean, scoring shots were probably the biggest thing, right, in that
Yep.
first half? That first half ended with 10-5 to Carlton, 2-9. Now,
Yeah.
if that's 9-2, that
Yeah.
game's on.
And then it's at the end of the second, it's 65 to 21,
So
and it's over.
post by, the Suns have a win-loss record of 8 to 43.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. So that's post by. They've won 8 games and they've lost 43.
How have they played 43 games? They've only been in the comp fucking like 15 years.
They've checked out.
Yeah. Well,
How is that? Where are these 43 games coming from? A bye? Like they would. You only get one bye a year.
and that's only 4. That's 4 the years that there has been a bye.
8 and 43.
8 and 43.
So that's 51 games after a bye.
Yeah, after
There's
a
on
bye.
average-
Over 4 years.
There's on average 8 games after a bye.
Yeah.
10 games after a bye.
Yeah.
So
I see what you're
4,
saying.
4, 8. No, 4. There's got to be 5 years in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the point being,
Well,
terrible after the
They
bye.
did come back from China 2 of those years.
Yep.
Remember
That's
that?
true.
So they've-
we should bring the China game back.
The Suns. The
we
Suns,
should bring the China
As a
game
Port
back.
supporter, no.
Suns
We should do a
have
lads
never-
trip. We
the
should
Suns
do a
have-
lads trip to
Oh,
China
I
to watch
went to the
footy.
first ever China game.
Did you really?
I did. Did you not know that?
you
How was
serious?
it?
Yeah.
How was it?
I went to Shanghai 2017.
Dude, how was that?
It was a cultural. Yeah, it was.
Yeah?
It was pretty cool.
Was the food good?
So I went with my family.
Yeah.
It was my sister, mum, and dad, and we made a trip of it, made a week of it. We went to
I'm
Beijing
jealous.
first,
Yes.
and we went to the wall and did all this stuff, and then like the food, like you'll get good Chinese restaurants, and then you go and eat in China, and you're like, oh, now I know that Chinese restaurant was on point.
Yeah.
So in Beijing there was a big language barrier between English and Cantonese. I still remember I was at a restaurant and this lady, I'm like, what's that? Like, trying to pick food.
Yeah.
And she was like she was like doing that,
Oh,
trying
hell
to get
yeah.
like pork.
Hell yeah,
And she was
dude.
like clucking her arms to
Yeah.
tell me it was chicken. And
Universal.
Stuff like that.
Universal
It's
language.
right?
Yeah, nice.
Which-
nice.
But then you go to Shanghai, and I swear to you, man, it's like Asian New York. It's unreal.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The
Yeah.
nightlife is pumping.
I've
There's
only
people
ever-
everywhere. Everyone speaks English and Chinese. It's just awesome.
I've only ever been to
Yeah.
Guangzhou,
Yeah.
which is an industrial
Yep,
type town or city, quite a big city, and it was awful. It was very bad.
Oh, no.
But I go on the China game. It was the most televised, most watched footy games ever in the history of the game. Because there's a billion people, and a percentage of those have their TV on, and there's X amount of channels. So a percentage of the people that have the TV on had that channel on. So
Yeah.
it's like in the range
was
of
just
people
running
that were
background.
watching that game in the background.
It's huge.
was in the millions,
damn.
potentially like 10 million
This
people.
is why, like, we need like
David Kosh.
It's such a no-brainer for us to enter the Chinese market. It is such a no-brainer.
Well, the next round. I'm not sure. It's
we
next
could
round.
go
It's
and
Sydney,
be footballers in China
Sydney
and like
v
start
Eagles.
the AFL Chinese.
I believe
League.
Sydney v Eagles is the next round.
Yeah.
It's China round. It's they've got the Chinese embassy. What you call not the
Consulate.
The consulate
Yeah.
is attending. They've got Chinese related stuff going on around the ground.
Dude, promote. Get
So
it
instead of-
going.
the China game might be out, but China round is
dude,
in.
China round.
Yeah,
Like,
and
let's
it's,
go.
it's in
Let's
Sydney,
go.
which has the highest density of Chinese
a
people.
huge Chinese
Yeah,
population in
yeah.
So
Sydney.
we went there, and it looked on TV that no one was there.
Yeah.
But it was a 36-degree day, and
Yeah.
the side that was facing
36 degrees. What the hell?
yeah, and it was humid.
It'd be humid as
It was
shit.
humid as shit, and the hard camera wrestling jam.
Yeah. Yes.
Hard camera was on the sun side.
Yeah.
So no one was out there.
Didn't Dixon kick a ripper goal in
Nah,
China?
Westhoff.
It was Westhoff, another bearded man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was in the cheer squad behind the goals and that, and man, we're sitting there, and you don't know whether to like go nuts and cheer and abuse and all this stuff.
yeah.
Oh yeah, 'cause that's not culturally appropriate, is
No,
it?
because there is guys, police officers with machine gun rifles
Yeah.
walking up and down.
I
the
honestly,
turnstiles,
sometimes
and I'm
we
like,
need that at Optus Stadium.
Yeah.
We do. There's,
we do.
there have been times where I have been craving an armed guard.
Getting
with,
back to
the
this,
football.
this game. My disappointment was unfathomable.
Yes.
And
yes.
all I
Every
can really put
time
it down
I
to.
feel like the Suns are going to be good,
Yeah.
they fuck me.
Well, they needed
sometimes
this.
it may be good.
It was
Sometimes
an
maybe
iconic.
good, sometimes maybe shit.
It would have been an iconic win.
It would have been.
Carlton was low.
Could you
on-
imagine the capitulation of the Carlton
Oh
supporters? too?
god!
Oh my
It would've-
god!
this was such a
Yeah.
bad. We're in the worst timeline now.
So now that they've had this
If they
big
had
win,
lost,
it's a bad loss.
now that the Blues have had this win, all of those people are going to be
come
like,
back.
"We're back."
We're back, baby. It
But,
makes me
look,
sick.
What all I have to say about it was the Suns' ball movement. Awful.
Terrible.
Very awful. There's
Stagnant.
Didn't seem to be any plan.
Impotent.
Contest to contest. It was quite like what you see in lower grade amateur football.
Yeah.
No real plan.
Yeah.
Just kicking it contest to contest, and sometimes someone manages to get a mark and a goal.
We'll finish off the round. What was the last game? Wasn't it the
It was the North Dogs game.
North and Doggies?
Man,
this,
I was riding North.
I was riding North
was
home. I wish they got
So was I.
home.
How many more honourable losses can they take? They are the
It's-
honourable loss team.
I think they're allowed to.
I think, they're allowed to do it. It's the time for them to do this. They'll learn a lot. This was like the Crom last year. When
Yeah,
the Crom
I
were
think
going
so, yeah.
down in a lot of 15 to
Tight-
20 point wins where the opposition would just kick away in the
Not bad.
last.
And those aren't
It's
bad
not
losses.
a bad thing. They're tracking well. I thought Ben Mackay had a ripper game, intercept marking.
Yeah. He's been doing that
there
for
were
a few
times
weeks.
when he got caught out. Like
Yeah,
there were
yeah.
times when he was out of position. But that's what happens in modern AFL. Like it's not his fault.
Yep.
It's society's
So
fault.
something happened in this game that I've been asking for about 6 weeks, and that is, and it wasn't particularly a pure coaching call. I think because they lost a man, but Aaron
They
Norton,
lost Liam Jones.
Aaron
yes.
Norton went
to the
defense,
back line,
which is what I've been wanting to see
I did notice.
for fucking weeks, and it
Yeah.
finally happened, and it was fucking great.
He did do well.
And as a result, Cody Waitman kicked 6 fucking goals.
It freed up the space, didn't
No,
it?
but he Cody Waitman's been, as much as I hate to say it, because I don't like him.
I don't love him.
Yeah, but he's been good.
He has
He's
been good.
been
Yeah.
really,
he
really
took
good.
He took 2 hangers.
Absolute beauty.
You notice how different the Doggies Ford 50 looks without Norton in it.
Yep.
And I love Norton as a player,
Yep.
but they were so tunnel
Centric,
vision
yeah.
But
looking
this-
at him to kick to
But
him.
this is the
At the
thing.
wrong time.
We
Yeah,
spoke.
yeah,
we
yeah.
spoke about this last week. Like what Monty just said was the perfect thing, the wrong time. So they were tunnel visioned on him, but never the right kick, and that wasn't Aaron Norton's fault.
No.
That's the whole fucking
He's
team's
doing
fault.
what he's told to do.
Yeah.
Contest the footy.
So we talked about it either last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Their entries and deliveries to him have just been dog shit. They've been putting into spaces the opposite of where he wants them.
And by the time it gets to him,
It's too late.
it is either completely out of position for him, or there's a pack of 7 blokes underneath it, and he's trying to take the best contested mark he can ever take in his life.
And he's good.
Sometimes he does.
Yeah,
Sometimes he does.
Seeing him back there is great.
Yeah, I dig it.
If coached,
I really dig it.
coached properly, well, he was a backman. That was his natural position.
In under 18s footy, I believe he was recruited as a backman for the Dogs. Yeah.
So if coached correctly, he could be Darcy Moore. They've got the exact same frame.
Well,
And hairstyle.
What's the best part of Aaron Norton's game? His mark.
Yeah, not his
and
goal
what
kicking.
is the most important part of modern defending, apart from the run and carry,
Is intercept
marking.
Yeah.
So if Aaron Norton can play as a sort of like Darcy Moore, Jeremy McGovern type, where he can run off, stay loose, intercept mark, and then slingshot and get it to a runner, and they've got runners in Bailey Dale, they've got guys who can run and carry the footy. That backline looks a lot more coherent, I think, and that can really do good things for the Doggy structure. So
We've got a good stat here.
yes,
And there was vision accompanying this.
yes, go on.
After the game, Bailey Smith running laps.
Loved it
You want to know why that was, though?
because he had negative meters gained.
19 disposals, negative 22 meters gained.
Yeah, I saw this.
Quite
Yeah,
bad.
Criminal.
Quite
Criminal.
bad indeed.
But love the hustle afterwards. And I saw him running this going, Jesus Christ, he's running this at a decent pace as well.
Yeah.
He's just played out a full 4 quarters of AFL.
He would have copped a spray.
If I was to guess how quick those Ks were, they'd be hovering around 4 minutes, which is fucked. Like, that is fucked to be doing that. I play a game of amateur football and I am fucking rooted. I'm absolutely rooted. I couldn't move for 3 days afterwards. I can't imagine just doing like 4-minute Ks just for fun. He looked fine. Anyway, let's get on to the most valuable player, the BTH. Sorry, Corey, you got
Before we
one
do,
more.
just
You got one more.
Some interesting little things
He's
here
just
before we get
sneaking
off
them
it.
in.
Just
Yes.
need one more. So I've got an interesting one with Geelong and Sydney. They grand finalists missing finals.
Yeah, hasn't happened since.
No. They sit 10th and 15th on the ladder at the moment and will create history should they fail to improve on these positions. As the only previous grand finalists to both finish in the bottom half of the ladder in the next season, the last time 2 grand finalists failed to reach the finals was 1963.
63.
Essendon v Carlton.
Yes.
The worst finishing
Very
positions.
meme teams, even back in the 60s.
The worst finishing positions by previous year's grand finalists in history. 1945, Richmond and Fitzroy, 7th and 6th. 1946, Carlton and South Melbourne, 6th and 7th. 62, Hawthorn, Footscray, 9th and 5th. Essendon, Carlton, 5th and 6th. 2005, Port Adelaide, Brisbane, 8th
God,
and 11th.
VFL before the year 1960 is just a wild place. You look at
That's crazy.
You look at the summaries of the seasons, and you're like, what was it like? Like, imagine watching this shit. Like, it's wild.
And a follow-up to one that we talked about a few weeks ago that went into the pace of the game and how the game kind of works.
Yep.
The Carlton Suns game has broken that conversation apart. Well, kind of broken it apart. It was the 4 goals uninterrupted by turnovers and stoppages.
Did they break the record?
Carlton has managed to do one against the Suns.
No
and,
way.
And to recap, it's the first time since round 23, 2021. And yeah, out of all the slackings we've had in the few previous years, it's the first time someone's been able to do it.
So what was it? 4 unanswered goals with no touches of the opposition team. So they did not touch the ball.
Didn't touch it.
Straight
no
out of the centre
turnovers, no
bounce.
stoppages, 4 in a row. And it was quite early at the start of the second quarter where they
Suns
dominated.
boys, how can you do Stewie like this?
Well, it's exactly-
How can you do it?
Yeah. It's a direct result of the Suns looking like they just had no plan at all.
No plan. It is very tough.
No,
so
no, I don't think no plan, man. Stuart Dew would have given them a plan.
I
They just didn't
don't think
execute.
it's
I
the
don't know
coaching
what
that is
happened.
bad.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah, that's fair, isn't it?
I think it's
Fair.
got to be like that. It's got to be the players just shitting the bed to me. Like that is, and I'm sure that the players would tell you that if you asked them. It's like I don't know what happened. You would interview someone like Matty Rowell or Noah Anderson after the game, be like, how the hell did that happen? 4 goals and 8. To be like, I don't even know, man. I barely remember it. It was just, it happened so quick.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just one of those things.
And we do thank useless AFL stats.
We do.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Basically,
we give the Gold
our
Coast a
sister
mulligan.
Twitter account, let's say. We love useless AFL stats. So
give
you want to
Gold
go
Coast-
into
let's give Gold Coast a mulligan for that. Like,
mulligan for that?
I'll give him a mulligan for
Do
sure.
you want to go into MVP voting, or is Monty okay first?
Well, up to you.
We can hit MVP.
We'll go MVP,
MVP.
votes. We'll go MVP votes.
I'll bring up Joel's.
I will go, bring up Joel's. We'll go Joel's after mine. So, this is our BTH MVP award. Now, at the moment, I'm not exactly sure what the leaderboard is looking like, but I can guess that Dacos and Butters would be at the top.
They are.
Yes.
Last week's voting was very fresh stuff. Very fresh players.
Yes.
Players that hadn't been voted for in a few weeks, so it didn't alter the top 10 at all.
So,
Connor McDonald.
yeah, McDonald getting votes. So, I will go with mine first.
Yep.
For 1 vote, I'm going with supplementary boy of the podcast. It's Jeremy Finlayson. Have to do it.
Oh, good lord!
Just going to say
got
it.
a bag.
He's better than Charlie Dixon.
Yep.
He is way better than Charlie as a player.
My only question
Output.
is his gas tank. He seems to gas out very quickly.
He kicked 4 goals, got 1 assist.
Yeah, it's good.
All you need. That was the margin that won the game.
Look,
in
I'm
the
not
end.
arguing with you.
It was,
I love the fella.
It was a bit over 30 points.
Charlie Dixon's the decoy.
Yeah, you
draws
run. Get the fuck out of the 50, Charlie. Leave it for Finlayson.
Yeah.
Leave it open for
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
2 votes, Lockie Neal.
Yep.
Very clean 29 disposals.
29 disposals and a goal, I believe.
10 score involvements as
Yeah,
well.
quite
7 tackles, 10 clearances.
clearances.
Just a huge midfield game.
Just a great Lockie Neal at the
Great
Gabba
Lockie
game.
Neal at the Gabba game.
At the Gabba.
At the Gabba game. Gabba Dome. Yo Gabba Gabba. 3 votes.
Have you just had a stroke?
I have had a stroke.
Wow.
3 votes, Adam Chera. In that second quarter blitz, I thought he was Carlton's best. He ended up with 27 disposals, 2 goals.
Had somewhat of a form slump for a little bit. Well, I suppose
Yeah.
the entire team did.
I think it's the whole team, but also like it's him taking a back seat to
Yeah.
Walsh and Cripps
Yeah.
more often than not. But he's capable of being the best player in a game for
He
Oh, of
kicked
course.
3?
He kicked 2.
He kicked 2.
He kicked 2.
I mean,
love
if you
that.
hit the score,
He might have
it's always
assisted
good.
or gotten some score involvement.
That's worthy of the 3.
Yeah.
4 votes, the Bond. Had to be.
Unreal.
He was
32
immaculate.
disposals,
Matt, he
3
was good.
goals, 11 tackles, 14 score involvements.
That's
Love it.
huge.
Just like you'd think that would get him a 5 voter, but I couldn't do it. 5 votes is Tim Taranto.
Wow.
Unstoppable. Like 38 disposals.
In the wet.
In the
The
wet.
heavy wet, mind you.
1 goal and a goal assist, 10 tackles in the wet as well. They were very good wet weather tackles.
That's a great vote, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to chuck in. I have a strong suspicion that Tim Taranto might get the clean sheet here.
He might get
Very
the clean
well
5.
might get it.
We don't know yet. We haven't heard them. Get Joel's up if you could read them out, Monty.
Well, I could still put Butters as 5. I've still got
Yeah,
time to
yeah,
change.
I wouldn't put it past you. Would not put it past you. Thank God that Collingwood didn't play this week and Corey had votes to give other players.
Hey now. Hey.
So I've got Joel's here. Joel's given 1 vote to Dusty. Welcome back, Dusty.
Yeah,
Okay,
welcome
yeah.
back, Dusty.
Although I did give
He's back.
I did give Dusty a 5 voter a while ago.
You did, actually.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he deserved it.
you know what?
He's on the board. He's on the
Yeah,
board.
he's on the board. He's on the board.
2 votes, Toby Green. Also
Yeah.
sneaky for the Brownlow.
He's got
voted really
Toby
well.
Green every week this entire season.
Yeah.
Yep. 3 votes, Josh Kelly.
Yes, he was huge.
Yep. If Josh Kelly left GWS and went to
Oh, he'd be
another
unreal.
team,
Oh, people would actually know who he was.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I might during the week. I might formulate a list of a complete list of ex GWS
We
players.
could put together a team.
Yeah.
We could put together an All-Australian
That's
team.
a good idea.
I think it's been done by some
Yeah,
AFL
I think it has.
Well,
too.
we're smarter
journo
than them.
pundits. We are smarter than them. Go on. What was the rest of Joel's?
4 votes for all around good boy Marcus Bontempelli.
Yeah, yeah.
And 5 votes,
Taranto,
Tim
surely.
Taranto.
He's got 10 from 10, Tim Taranto.
Oh,
He's
he's
got
on a
10.
rampage.
He's got 10. Monty,
now
what was your top 5?
Look,
See, this is what I'm
Joel
saying.
and I have been voting for Tim Taranto for the past probably 3 or 4
Joel
rounds.
has been very big on Tim Taranto,
I've
and
been-
I'm not saying it's bad.
I've been giving him a lot of 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
But
This was,
is what
I
I'm
think,
saying.
my first 5 for him.
This is what I'm saying about our leaderboard. It looked unassailable that that Dacos was so far ahead. But all it takes is one clean sheet.
That's 20 votes.
And you're in.
That's
So
20
you
votes.
are in there.
Yeah. So, Monty, what was your top 5?
I've got my top 5. So I've given 1 vote to Patrick Cripps.
Yep.
I think
I like that.
I think he deserved a little.
He was big.
Gown.
He was big.
Yep.
Yeah, especially after being abused the last 3 weeks.
That's right. 2 votes I'm giving to Zach Bailey from Brisbane.
Very good game.
Yeah, very good game
from
and
Zach
good score
Bailey.
involvements as well.
That's a good
and
vote.
hits the scoreboard as well. So
Yeah.
he usually is quite consistent.
Yeah, important player.
We like that.
Good one for your multi for 15 and 1.
Yes,
Just, no,
just quietly. Yes,
Gamble
gamble responsibly.
responsibly.
We don't gamble at all.
3 votes to Marcus Bontempelli.
Yeah.
I'm going to give 4 to Dan Houston, guys.
Okay. Yeah, love it.
Because I don't think anyone else has.
That is fine. I wanted to give him votes. I couldn't squeeze him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
Yep.
And 5
The
for
Tarant.
Timmy
Timmy
Taranto.
Taranto.
The tarantula.
15 from 15. That was my pendulum impression. And Corey, you're going to round us out. Let us know. Are we going to get the perfect week from Tim
all right.
Taranto?
1 vote, L. Neil.
Yeah, Lockie.
So-
Yep.
For the reasons
Yep.
you
Yes,
said.
I gave some reasons.
2 votes, Cody Waitman.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's only a 2.
Yeah.
Sorry we
Yes.
didn't give you votes,
Big
Cody.
bag, couple of couple of hangers, rather.
Couple of hangs,
We
yeah.
didn't give votes when Tex kicked 10.
I gave him 5. I gave him 5.
Well,
I'm
it's
getting
against the
rolled up
Eagles.
just thinking
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
I've asterisked that in the spreadsheet.
Oh, get stuff.
3 votes, Adam Trelaw.
Yep. You like Trelaw
I do
a
like
lot. You've
Trelaw.
given him some votes.
You know what?
He's very consistent. He puts up the same numbers, and he does drag the team around. That could easily be a Bont, a Bont
Yes.
vote for sure. But I just feel like he deserved it. I think he
yeah,
got
yeah.
5 more disposals and a goal. It's good. That's
good.
worthy.
Good.
Any Oz kickers who listen, doubt it. But anyone who
You shouldn't be listening.
you shouldn't be listening, go to sleep.
Yes.
Anyone who plays footy and wants to learn proper kicking technique, watch Adam Trelaw.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
His kicking technique
Him
is
and Jaya
sublime.
Miss.
Yeah.
And
Jaya Miss is the
a-
best in my opinion.
This is a good question.
It's
Best kick in the AFL. We'll do it after your
well, because
5.
if you watch
And-
Adam Trelaw do it, whenever he kicks the ball, his head bops down over his knee.
Looks
Yep.
at it.
He
Yep.
looks at the ball. Doesn't even. It's like a golfer's swing.
Yeah,
You're not meant
you
to
want
look where you
eliminate all variables. Keep
Yeah,
it in
so
a
you-
straight line, the same every time.
Exactly. So he's
All
very
right.
good at that. And
Four
5? No, 4
votes. 4 votes. Jeremy Finlayson.
Oh, he's got the 4. He might be working his way into the top 30, perhaps. Jeremy.
Love him. I
We
just
do love him,
him.
but we
lobster.
love Jeremy
No, the
Finlayson. The lobster.
The crab? Pinchy.
No, he's pinchy. He's pinchy
5
lobster.
votes. T. Tarantula.
Yeah, he's got the perfect week. We need a sound cue for this.
God,
We
easy.
need a sound cue. It is the perfect week for Timothy Taranto, and surely he has rocketed his way up of the BTH MVP
Yeah.
leaderboard.
Well, I believe he was in the top 10.
So he's now got to be in the top 5, surely. if
he'll
we-
be in
would
the
say
top
top
3.
Oh God! And it's now a 3-horse race for the 4-horse race for the Brownlow.
Well, you can take
Dacos,
Jezza out.
Butters, not Jezza. I mean for the Brownlow.
Oh, yeah,
Our award
yeah.
is obviously
Yeah,
more
yeah,
important
yeah, of
than the
course.
Brownlow. But if we're talking what the umpires are going to give votes to, Dacos, Butters, Taranto, Bont. Those are the only 4 that can
Yeah.
win it.
You'd
Toby
think
Green
so.
would round out the 5.
For Brownlow? For Brownlow?
Bro, he is literally
You're-
dragging the GWS
Yeah,
team.
he could.
And they've
I'm
not
beaten,
sure.
Got to remember, they've beaten some big teams, and they've beaten Geelong.
But he's been
in Geelong.
suspended, hasn't he? Has he been suspended yet?
No.
Has Toby Green not been suspended for the year?
List those names again slowly with Toby Green last.
Okay, so we've got Nick Dacos, Zach Butters, fucking Tim Taranto. I only got 3 there.
And
Well, there was going to be 4.
Yeah,
Marcus
Marcus
Bontempelli.
Yeah, you've missed it. It's all right.
You missed it. You hit the sound
missed
cue
the
too
cue.
early.
I was record
You tried to
scratching
do the record
before
scratch.
the Toby Green.
Yeah, but there was Marcus Bontempelli before
yeah,
the Toby Green.
shit.
He's fucked it. Either way. All right, there we go. Toby Green. All right. Anyway, we will go into.
I'll be completely happy if this ends up being the Jeremy Finlayson BTH MVP.
Oh, we could name it after the Jeremy Finlayson. But also, like, one day Jeremy Finlayson is going to be eligible for Adopt Your Dad. Spoiler alert, we might do that later in the show. Next up, we're going to go with the flagship segment of the Barely Touched Him podcast. It is Adopt Your Boy. Hit the sound effect, Corey.
Oh, I was on the.
There we
It's on the
go.
wrong one.
Did you like my vocal work there, holding that note?
It's very positive
It was
vamping.
very positive vamping. When in doubt, just go, ho. So, my boy didn't get the chance to do anything this week because both the Crows AFL team and the Sandford team had a bye. So, Paddy Parnell
I
has
see.
had a week off. He's recharged his cylinders. And, God damn it, if Matty Nix, if you don't put him as at least sub, the boy can't do any more to prove himself and stake his claim for this Crom team, I'll be very upset. And I guarantee you, if Matty Nix drops into the sample again, he'll get 30. He'll get 30 touches. And then Crom will lose, and he'll be like, shit, we could have used a bit more run off half
Well, it
back.
depends on who they're playing, I suppose, as well.
I forget who they're playing. Doesn't matter.
Port. Sorry, Adelaide.
Yeah.
Adelaide. Who are Adelaide playing? Have you got the tipping data there?
I had
He
it
doesn't.
written-
He
I
thought he had it. He
written
didn't have
down.
it. But
My apologies.
someone's boy who did play is Monty's boy.
Good Lord.
Talk us through it, Monty. How was his game?
Sorry, Tommy, your game wasn't great.
Tommy Powell did not have a great game, according to
That's
his
unfortunate.
adopted father.
However, back-to-back goals.
He kicked back-to-back goals. I've just dropped my book.
So
he kicked 2.
So TP kicked 2.
Hang on. The hell's that bad? That's an astonishing effort for a boy.
great. For a boy.
Fantasy votes 50.
Yeah,
we're
but
not
he's like a
going off.
small
Is that-
forward. He's a half
No,
forward,
he's not.
isn't he?
He's
a defender. Sorry.
No,
yeah,
no. He's a midfielder. He's got 12 disposals and 2 goals.
Does he start at centre bounces? No, he
Sometimes.
doesn't.
Sometimes.
No. So he's like an outside mid half
Hang on.
forward.
Let's have a look at those stats.
Yeah, what did he get for the
My
game,
God.
Tommy?
12 disposals,
Tom.
2 goals.
That's fantastic.
That's for a boy. For a boy,
Absolutely.
that's absolutely
Sorry.
fine.
It's absolutely amazing.
I'm sorry,
He's not going to get dropped. Like
Tom.
he's not
No.
getting dropped.
Tom. I'm an ethnic dad. I'm going to be an ethnic dad.
Hang
You
on.
need to be doctor.
If you're not
How
getting,
how
if you're not getting
aggressively
30 and 6, you'll fail.
how aggressive are you moving into the role of ethnic father here? That didn't take long, did it? The
You'll
child's not
not
even
get
born
Daddy
yet.
disposal. I can't do it. It's racist when I do it.
That's
But,
right.
Hasn't stopped you before.
That's true. Not on air though. Not on air. Oh god. Any update on Sammy Flanders, Corey's
Mate,
boy?
Again, he's had an absolute
You sent
tear.
me his stat line
It's
earlier in the week.
incredible.
I went, what the fuck? This is unreal.
Not just in this team, but in terms of fantasy points, the entire league. Second is a chasm away from him.
Sammy Flanders.
2 goals and 42 disposals.
Wow.
So I messaged Sam.
Stewie Jew.
I messaged Sam. I said, "What the fuck is this? You're an absolute tear."
Did he reply?
He did. He said,
What did he say?
Yes, sir.
Yes. These are the sorts of interactions you can expect with the hot journalism at the Barely Touched Him podcast. Sammy Flanders,
Gold Coast would have won.
well,
If he played,
surely
Gold Coast would have won.
he cannot be back in the 2s this week. 42
this-
disposals and 2 goals.
This got raised in the group chat this week.
Yeah.
If he's not playing for the rest of the year, he's going to another team.
Oh, yeah,
Surely.
absolutely.
Come to the Pies.
they'd
Come
love
to the
him.
Pies,
They'd love
Sammy
him.
Flanders.
They'd love him.
I'll tell you who could use him, actually. I'll tell you who could use a bit of a Sammy Flanders. Like a inside-outside midfielder who can kick goals.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a bit of rain on the
It's
background.
okay. It'll be
just
okay.
ASMR. I reckon that maybe someone like a West Coast Eagles
Oh, yeah, they'd like
yeah,
him.
yeah.
could use a
absolutely.
Sammy Flanders.
Absolutely.
Maybe someone
Team up
like
with Harley Reid.
like a North Melbourne could use some a team that needs good young experienced midfielders.
Yep. Teach
I
him,
think it
teach
could
him
do
to
it.
be on the outside a little bit, offload. That'd be great.
I think it could. And Joel's boy is still injured. Joey Richards, as far as we're aware,
Rest in peace, Joey.
he is injured. It is hamstring. Next up, we're going to go into not the other flagship segment. Is Joel okay? Joel's not here. We wish him all the best. But it's Is Monty okay? We're talking about the Port Adelaide Power. And here is the beautiful Never Tear Us Apart by In Excess. Monty, 11 in a row.
Mate,
How are you feeling as a devoted Port Adelaide supporter looking at this?
It comes through on the recording different than what you can hear. It's
Yeah,
good.
just let it. Monty tried to pull the fader down.
We want it up.
We want it up, Monty. Talk us through
right.
it. How
All
are you
right.
feeling?
all right.
Choo-choo! All aboard the
Oh, here
teal
we go.
train!
Here we go. I thought you were already on it.
Mate,
Wait, were you off
Mate.
the train?
It's embarking the station now.
dude, all year I've been tipping against them.
You have.
You
everything.
had to be convinced a couple of weeks ago when you were here.
This-
You had to
to
be
tip them,
convinced to tip them.
I have
Yeah.
work
When
colleagues.
they won 8 in a row.
Christian at work, I'm like, am I allowed to believe? He's like, yeah, you can believe, man. This is good.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I still can't. And now,
Keep it going.
dude, yeah,
Can they win the flag?
yes,
Monty,
they can win
They
the
can
flag.
win the flag, he
I see
says.
some. I see some apprehension in your eyes.
No,
you,
this
you,
is-
you don't want to believe because you know
I
you're
know
going to
it's
get
just
let
kind of
down.
crunching down. 2014.
We need Johnny Cash heard in here.
2014.
We do.
2014 was really good. 2021.
What did they do in 2014
Really
again?
good.
What did they do in 2014 again? Where did they get?
2021, really good. Mm-hmm. But 2023 just still feels more different.
Yeah.
Right? It's palpable.
Zach Butters, to me,
Yeah.
is. I think he's going to win the Brownlow medal over Dick Dacos. I'm going to call that now. I think he's indicating that he's going to poll in more games because he hasn't had an off game in like 8 weeks. Like, he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So even in the years that we were playing really well, and I've said it before, I'm a firm believer that in 2020, 2021, when the shortened quarters were happening, we were winning games and close games.
That's true, actually.
The fact that we're playing full games and beating good teams. So Collingwood we lost to, Crows we lost to, and we've won every other game.
Yeah. It was a big response. It was a huge response.
So we've beaten top 8 teams, which is things we weren't doing before. If we end up top 2, man, I can just say,
So the only teams that they've lost to are Collingwood and the Crom. So
there's some redemption games coming.
there's some redemption games coming, but allow me, if you will, I think we've discussed the possibility of this before. A showdown final.
Oh,
Can
unreal.
you imagine?
Won't happen.
Can you imagine?
Won't happen.
Well, it would require Port Adelaide to lose a qualifying final, and then Crom, presumably they finish 8th maybe, or perhaps as high as 7th. They win a elimination final
And the semi.
and a semi.
Oh, no, the semi
semi
would be
Port.
against us, yeah.
It would
I've
be
got
a
a semi right now.
semi-final. As I got a
too.
semi, thinking about a semi-final Port Adelaide showdown.
You'd have to go, wouldn't
I-
you?
You'd have to
You'd have to.
go.
I don't think it'll happen. Port Adelaide going to finish top 2, man.
They're going to finish top 2. They're
gonna finish top two.
Well, they're top of the ladder right now, aren't they?
Well, yeah, technically because Collingwood had a bye.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna go the back end of this year. We might win. We might win all but maybe 2 or 3, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So Brisbane, if they don't win, finish top 2, they're gone. Okay.
Yeah.
If they're going to come to Adelaide and play Port,
They're
they'll
gone.
lose.
They're gone. They will lose.
They're gone.
Yes.
The prelim will then therefore probably be against Melbourne,
Yes.
most likely.
Yes.
Or someone else up and coming, maybe like randomly, could be like a Geelong or a Dogs randomly. This team is different. This team's not going to capitulate against Western Bulldogs. This team is going to grind out hard wins. They just like Collingwood. They feel like, no, we're going to wherever we're going to get to.
We are
It's not Collingwood. Come on.
We are truly living in the best timeline for our teams right now. For Collingwood and Port.
It could genuinely be a Collingwood Port Adelaide.
Well, before we move on to other sports news,
Well,
type
we've
stuff,
got
some more stuff to
we've
say.
got one more
right.
segment before other sports news. It is our All-Australian team that we're going to do.
Oh, sorry.
And also,
I was
there's
going
a
into, I was going into Law and Order.
Law and Order. Not yet.
A couple of things real quick. I am going to the Port Collingwood game in a month's time,
Yes.
so I'll report back from that.
If any listeners are in Adelaide, make sure to get a hold of Monty and say good day.
That's right. I just want to send a shout out to my sister who had a baby.
Of course, yes.
Congratulations.
Very good.
And that means my baby's got a cousin.
Yeah.
Yes. You're an
Very good.
uncle.
I'm an
You're
uncle.
an uncle.
I'm an uncle first, and then I'm getting upgraded to father.
They'll be 6,
To
7
daddy.
months apart.
6-7 months
They
apart.
might be able to go to school together.
Ideal.
So we're at my house on Thursday night watching Collingwood.
Oh, yeah, this
watching
is- this is
Geelong
good,
and
this is
Port.
good.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling at the TV like I normally do. I've cooked. I've got family over. I'm
You are
yelling.
quite boisterous.
You're a very. I was just about to say the word boisterous. He's a boisterous man.
boisterous
my-
young lad.
And my sister goes, Monty, can you just tone it down? The baby's not moving. I'm like, sorry. I'll tone it down.
Of course.
Third quarter comes around. We've clicked 7 in a row. Jeremy Finlayson kicks two.
the lobster. Yes.
Kelly Finlayson's going nuts in the crack. Go, Kelly!
Go, Kelly. You good thing. Yes.
My sister goes to the bathroom. Her water breaks.
Yeah.
Get right out of town.
Yes. So I've got a nephew. His name is Harrison. He's home today.
I didn't call him Jeremy
and
or Finlay.
No,
Didn't call him.
I've put
Ken
it towards
Hinkley.
my wife whether we should call our daughter Kendall
Yeah, very good.
or Adelaide or
Butters.
Finley.
I think Adelaide. I think Adelaide's a bit too on the nose.
Butters Kanungo would be a very good name. That would be a very, very nice
So-
name for a girl.
So this segment, you usually ask me where we're going to finish.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
And I'm going to say top 2.
Yes.
Yep. And you're going to ask me what's the outcome of
What's the outcome of that ladder placement from a finals perspective?
Yes. And I will say grand finalists.
Oh, good lord.
And I will... And I've booked my hotel.
Oh, he's done it. He's booked
Jesus.
the hotel.
With free cancellation, just in case.
I
Just
like
in
that.
case, ladies and gentlemen, we're
like that.
responsible people here on the Barely Touched It podcast. We're not just going to fly to Melbourne on a whim without a
no,
refundable
no.
hotel booking.
And
So
there was
we're a
some
bit
talk-
smarter than that.
There was some talk this week about the whole. They were saying, Josh Carr's doing the coaching and Ken's doing stuff on the
I
bench.
did see that. Yeah.
Did someone else say that maybe
Yeah,
2 months
yeah,
ago?
yeah,
Who
yeah,
I
mentioned
think
it?
we spoke about it last
Monty
week.
called
Was
it.
it
Monty
me?
called it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it
then
might
the
have been
Raw.
you.
So the Raw. If you are listening to our podcast, credit
Thank
Monty
you.
in your
Thank-
next article.
thank you for listening.
Please, we thank you for your patronage, but credit your boy.
And David Koch, I have a message for you, David.
Oh, what's that?
What's that, Monty?
Ken's
I can't do it.
Ken's contract. You don't have to sign him.
voice is a bit cooked,
Oh, there you go.
You don't need to sign
imagine-
him now, David.
Imagine winning 11 games in a row and wondering if you're going to get fired or not.
Well,
No.
we might have.
No.
I've been smoking some codes
No,
with
no.
Dimmer. We've been off in Vegas together.
He won't.
go on.
Jesus Christ.
He won't. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. And look, honestly, clearly the boys back him. Clearly he backs
yeah,
the boys.
absolutely.
I think they're on a euphoria at the moment where
Yes,
they're not going to
yes.
even care about that sort of stuff.
I tell you what, this Zach Butters, he's fucking good. I tell you what. So now we are going to. I should have done this directly after.
Yeah, so yes.
adopt
What?
your boy. We are after much demand from the mailbag and from our listeners. Who have come up with this? I forget who the mailer was who originally
It was
did this.
Craig.
Cracker Craig.
Craig.
It was
No,
Cracker
it wasn't
Craig.
Cracker
Was
I'm pretty
it?
sure it was Cracker
No,
Craig.
Cracker Craig didn't do this one.
I think
I'm pretty
whoever
sure it
it
was.
You're
was,
slipping, Craig.
whoever it was,
Thank
we
you.
are now doing it. It is Adopt Your Dad.
Oh, it is Cracker Craig.
Adopt Your Dad.
I thought we were doing the other thing.
No, we're doing Adopt Your
We're
Dad.
doing Cracker Craig.
Cracker
Adopt
Craig.
Your Dad. So, this is just like Adopt Your Boy, where you adopt a player, but instead of being young, he's a bit old. He's got to be. It's the same basic criteria for your boy criteria, but he needs to be over the age of 30 rather than under the age of 25. We want to get an older bloke in the AFL who's not won a best and fairest, or a Brownlow, or a Coleman, or All-Australian selection, and is not a media darling. And can't be the captain or the vice-captain either.
Ooh.
So it's the same criteria. I don't think this affects. So I have picked my boy,
Yes.
and I can't believe he's eligible. Sorry, I picked my dad. I've picked my dad.
Yes,
Who
Daddy.
can
You
adopt.
can't even convert over from boy to
I know, I
dad.
keep saying boy. I keep saying boy. Because he has a bit of boy energy about him, this guy.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great.
So I'm going to tell you the teams he has played for.
Who are we
He
thinking?
started at North Melbourne. He's not there anymore.
Okay.
Got traded from North. Can't believe he didn't get an All-Australian while he was there. Cannot believe it. I had to double check. He did not.
Yeah.
He has not won a best and fairest at North, which is, again, mind-blowing.
So he's still there.
He's not at North.
No, he's not at
Okay,
He's been
okay.
traded, but if I tell you who he's been traded to, it'll give it away.
Okay.
He's been traded to Melbourne.
Oh my God.
I am adopting as my father Ben
Big
Brown.
Boner
Big
Brown.
Benny Brown.
What?
I love Ben Brown. He is over the age of 30 just.
How is what?
Yeah, he is.
He's over 30.
Yeah, he's over
definitely,
30.
definitely.
He is over
Christ.
30. He's looked 37 since he was 18.
Sideshow
I feel
Bob.
like,
With that
I feel like he's
haircut-
only been relevant for
Sideshow
5
Bob.
years.
That's not true, Corey. I nearly called you Monty. That is not true. He led the North Melbourne goal kicking for like 5 seasons.
he did.
Nearly won a Coleman, I think it was 2018 or 19.
Yeah, that's within 5 years ago,
Just
but
got
yeah.
picked by Jeremy Cameron on the last game because Jez kicked like 10. He is the most underrated key forward of the last 5 or 6 years. I will say it.
No, the run-up still gets to me.
I love it.
No, it's
No.
perfect.
I love
No,
it.
no,
You
no.
So
you
Ben
ask
Brown,
any goal
Stupid.
kicking coach.
Brent
that's the best
Brown,
thing
you
can
are
do.
my dad. Monty, who's your dad?
Well, I'll tell you
Who's
who
your daddy?
I wanted to be my dad.
Who's your daddy?
Who's my daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Oh, daddy.
Oh, daddy boy. Yes, go.
My dad.
Yes.
You're gonna love this, boys.
Yeah, well, I can't wait.
Checkers.
Brody Meyer check. What? Oh, we've
How
gone
dare you
two
pick
key
him over me?
forwards.
Yes.
We've gone 2 key
How
forwards.
He's
dare
great,
you.
man. Brody Myerchik is a great player. I
Yeah,
actually,
he is.
I rate him a
He
lot,
is.
and I love you, Daddy.
He is 30. I think he might be nearly 31 actually. Got
Well, because he got picked up late.
He's a
didn't he?
mature age draft pick for the Pies. And every time commentators talk about him, they're just so they fucking love him. He's just like,
Yeah,
he's
great.
a good working class player. He just works
He
really
is.
hard. He fucking is. He does.
A
He
great
does.
kick for goal.
Love it. Love it. Corey, you're going to round us out. Who is your father that you are adopting in Adopt Your Dad?
It is Ryan Lester.
Oh, I think that takes the cake.
Wow.
Remind our dear listeners who Ryan Lester is. Give us a career summary.
Is he still playing?
of
He is
Ryan
still
Lester.
playing.
I couldn't believe.
He is
I
still
cannot
playing.
believe he's still playing.
He is still playing. He's only ever played for one club as well.
Is
Wow.
it Brizzy still or Gold
It's still
Coast?
Brisbane.
It's Brizzy. Yeah. I knew
So
it was Queensland.
he made his debut in round 1 of the 2011 AFL season against the Dockers.
Jeez.
12 years
He's
ago.
had a lot of trouble with his hand, the tendons in his hand.
Yeah.
Because
Good thing it's football.
The Lees Frank ligament, which stabilizes the metatarsal bones.
Wow.
Sorry, that's the foot. Metacarpals is the
Carpals
hand.
is
so
hand,
that's
yes.
that's an
Correct.
ankle
Yeah.
/ foot injury.
You could have kept going, and no one would have.
He, on average,
Picked you up on
looking
it.
through all of his games, he plays, on average, half the games a season.
Yep. Okay.
He played a full season in 2017.
Nice.
Last year was 3, and he's played 6 so far this year.
6 this year, so he could get some games
Yeah.
if there's some injuries
listen,
here and there.
His stats aren't great.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want.
But
He plays his role.
So last year in his 3 games, didn't get a goal. Year before that, 17 games, 1 goal, 15 games, 0 goals. But look, he's a boy.
He's
got
a
he's a
got a
dad boy.
strange name.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Which
And
is,
we love that.
Honestly,
We love that.
Out of all the criteria, apart from age, Yeah, a weird fucking name.
We love a weird name.
To me,
we love a weird name.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
Are
Well-
you over 30? Yes. Do you have a fucking weird name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you look a bit funny?
Do you look weird?
Do you look a bit
Yes.
funny?
Ben
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, Ben Brown.
He's
Ben,
a-
absolutely
he's
Ben
a
Brown.
He's
Yeah.
a red-headed bloke.
Yeah.
He's a utility.
Yeah. Dude.
He'll play.
Boy.
He'll play
absolute
any position
boy
you
areas.
want.
Yes.
Who's the fullback? Broken his ankle. Ryan Lester's
Ryan
in.
Lester, out you go.
Oh, you need a winger. Ryan
Ryan
Lester's in.
Lester, out you go, son.
I feel bad now for
Joe
picking
Danaher,
checkers.
we need a key forward. Lester, get in the goal square.
So,
You're going to kick a bag.
We're following Lester. I'll hit him up. See if
Yeah.
he's got an Instagram.
Yeah.
Probably not because he's 55 years old.
We love that. And we will also reach out to Joel for his dad. We might get him to do that on the pod when he's on, if he's presumably next week.
Yes.
And we'll say, Joel, who's your daddy? And we'll
Yep.
get him to,
If he
do
hasn't
it.
been sex trafficked before then.
The joke there being that he's very small.
Brody Myercheck's not a great choice then, is it? Should I
like,
change it? Or?
He's almost too talented, I was going to say. But, like, if you want him as your dad, I'm
Yeah.
not going to...
The other one I was told, well, I really, really wanted Camden McIntosh because he's got the haircut
Yeah,
like
but he's not
granddad.
30.
But he's 29 and
I
like
really
8
wanted.
months.
I had an eye on Levi Casbolt. That's
good
Levi
Lord.
Casbolt's a great dad.
Well, he's had a couple of ripper games
He has,
recently,
and
hasn't he?
also Tom Hickey
You
is
know what?
is a great.
I
dad.
wanted to pick Tom Hickey, but I
he's
just
almost,
don't like him.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what?
he ran over my dog.
You know what?
just don't
I'm going
like
to change it. I'm going to change my dad.
He's changing his dad.
Oh, here we go,
Ladies
here
and
we go.
gentlemen.
Late mail,
Beep,
late
beep,
mail,
beep,
late
beep,
mail.
beep. Yep.
Okay. I didn't even know this bloke was still playing
Go.
until I saw the game against
Good
Geelong where
Lord.
he was a late out. Jonathan Segler.
Segler, yes, I had hot eyes on Jonathan Segler.
I think I did
Pretty
too.
sure he played for Hawthorn during the
And
three
he
premierships.
never played in
and
the
he
premiership.
Never played
He
in
never played in the premiership.
That's so dirty.
Huge dad areas.
That's so
massive.
filthy.
Oh god!
Uh,
yeah, Jonathan Segler.
Another thing we're going to do, boys, and this is, I don't know how this is going to go, but it's a ripper segment idea. We are going to pick the barely touched him All-Australian mid-year team.
Okay.
And how this is, I've got the
Now this was what I
the
was talking about
template
earlier.
here.
You've got
This
it- you've got the template?
was
I've got the template.
This was a mailbag question, and I can't remember who
We
it was
are.
from.
I think it might have been Craig, but that's because Craig's the only name I can remember. Cracker Craig, we love you. But
It's very consistent.
very
isn't he?
consistent
Every week
output
he's
from
got
Cracker
something.
Craig. So we're going to pick two players on each line. We each pick two defenders, two
Okay.
midfielders, two forwards,
right, and we
That
kind
makes
of
up the
agree on a
six.
ruck or something.
and we just agree on a ruck, and then
I think that'd be quite easy.
and then we just vibe out the bench.
Yeah.
So let's start with the back line. Corey, I want to pick last because I like the Corey.
Well, I'll take the most obvious choice
Yes.
and go Darcy Moore.
Darcy Moore, you will go centre half back. Darcy
Yes,
Moore,
yes, centre half back, yep.
Moore at centre half back. Done.
Monty?
Other defender. No. You
get
pick
two.
two.
Oh, okay.
Two at a time. Two at a time.
Nick Dacos.
Nick Dacos, chuck him on a
that's good.
half back flank. Yep, done. N Dacos, Monty, pick two
I'm
defenders.
really tempting not to try and pick Port players because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
you have picked two
But
players.
yeah,
I understand
You
that I
have
picked
picked
two
two.
players,
but they're
but
the
tell me
two
two
most
better
valid.
players.
They're
No,
the
that's
two
true.
most
That's
obvious.
true. No, you can't do it. It can't be done.
I've got-
Monty.
okay, for Joel, Jack Sinclair.
Yep,
Oh, I like
Sinclair,
that.
we'll chuck him in the back pocket.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a very good pick.
Do I go Aaliyah?
Yeah, go Aaliyah.
If you want to.
Yeah, go Aaliyah
At
at
fullback.
fullback.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I'm happy with that
Aaliyah.
pick.
Yep.
So
Okay,
yeah.
so now I need. Okay, we've got.
I don't think
So
you have
you
to pick
probably would
those
have
two
picked
spots,
more.
but I think you would have picked just picked
You
two.
both pick a tall and a small, which I like. That's the format I wanted to
Yes,
go for.
100%.
So I am going to go for. I have already done my mid-year All-Australian team for TikTok, but I'm going to
Which you can
intentionally be a bit different for
At
that.
Benry in the booth.
At Benry in the booth. I am going to go with another tall being Cal Wilkie,
Interesting.
and then another running half back being Mason Redmond.
Yeah, Redmond's
Oh,
good.
great choice.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
So
Great
if I was going off my regular All-Australian team that I did pick in the video, follow me on TikTok, that would have been Charlie Ballard and the Lizard. But I'm intentionally going with other guys just to keep it varied.
But,
Yeah, I like
but
that.
you mentioning those two names is good because then we can think about the bench.
Exactly right, the bench, and you want the
See-
bench to be functional. What I want to do in an All-Australian team, you want it to actually be able to play a game of footy, which means inside mids are not everywhere. You're going to have to leave some guys
That's
out.
right.
So let's go midfield.
Yep.
Starting with, who wants to pick a winger? Does anyone want to pick a winger?
So I think we should pick 2-2-2 for the midfield and then substitute one out for a ruck kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Thoughts?
Well, the midfield is like you want genuine wingers on the wing.
No, let's do 2-2-2 and then the ruck can go on the bench.
Okay, all right. So, Corey, you go to... You don't have to pick a winger if you want, but the spots are there if you want to do it.
Well, the guy...
So we've got 2 wingers, 3 on-ballers, and a ruckman.
All right, so I'm going to pick a winger.
If you want.
I will take... fuck.
You don't have to.
I kind of wanted to pick a bloke from Freo, but he's backed it off a little bit. Have you got one in the
Pressure's
tank?
on. I've got wingers.
You go one.
Okay.
If you've got one in the tank.
Nick Martin.
Yeah,
Nick Martin has to be
freaking love that.
on the wing.
Yeah,
You have to
should
put
have
I
done
him
that.
love
in
Nick
there.
Martin.
Yeah, I love Nick Martin. Got him in
Martin's
my
on a wing.
fantasy.
That will be one of my picks.
Got him
Yep.
in my fantasy team before he popped off, which
Yep.
I'm very happy about.
Do you want to go an on-baller? A true midfielder, Corey. A true midfielder.
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Zach Butters.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go Butters
That's quite
in the
good.
first follower spot.
I'd like to put Tom Mitchell in there.
I don't know.
Not as an on-baller, perhaps, because he's a bit outside.
Yeah, no, I
How
wouldn't
about,
put him.
how about Mr. Perfect from
What
today?
about Bonts?
Yeah.
Bont in the
Yeah,
centre.
Bont
Yep.
deserves that.
Yep. Love it. So we have 1 wing spot available and 1 more on-baller spot available. And then we have a ruckman.
Oh, well, I would take my second choice. I'll probably say Mr. Perfect, Tim Taranto.
Taranto,
yeah,
yep.
Taranto in the centre.
Yeah, not bad.
That is exactly the same midfield trio I had in my team.
Yep.
Without me picking them. It was Bont, Butters, and Taranto
Yep.
in the middle.
Who's
Yep.
got the run?
If you got Martin on the wing, would you go Mason Wood on the other wing?
You could. You could go
However,
Mason.
I feel like he's had
there's
a
a
couple
however
of-
coming from you.
feel like
There
he's
is
had a couple of
okay,
bad
so
games.
to me, the best wingers of this season, apart from Nick Martin, have
Side
been.
bottom.
Nah,
Nah.
I would say Josh Dacos has been better on the wing than side
fair,
bottom.
fair.
Errol Goulden's been very good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Mason
stick
Woods been
Errol on
very. We
there.
could stick Errol out on the wing.
Yeah, stick Errol
I
on
think Mason's
there.
done better than. Oh.
I don't know.
Mason's dropped off.
Errol's
been very
I think
good.
Errol's been very consistent. We could go Errol on a wing.
Yeah, I like that.
I think.
I'm happy
All
with
right.
that.
Okay.
Those can be my 2 picks: is Martin and Errol on the wings. Yep. And Monty, we need
So
a ruckman.
I picked Butters and Taranto. He's on. you've
we
only
need a
picked one,
ruckman. Who do you
Corey.
think? It's the best.
I immediately would be between Darcy and English.
Yeah, who
but
do you-
Darcy's injured now.
Up to you.
So it pretty much has to be English, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it does. It does. So that's our midfield. We've got Martin and Errol Goulden on the wings, English in the ruck, Bont, Butters, and Taranto in the guts.
And
Very good.
I'll asterisk that by saying, if not injured, Darcy easily gets that for me.
Yes, absolutely. Now into the forward line. We each pick a forward. Let's go like a key forward
Let's
and
go
then a
big and
general
small?
forward, big and
Yeah.
small. Corey, who do you reckon in the forward line?
I know I'm going to get bitten for this, but
Yeah.
Brody Mychek.
Oh, we'll chuck him on a flank.
Hey, no, delete that.
Oh.
Jeremy Finlayson.
He's got it, done it.
We're getting Finlayson on a flank. I actually fucking love that. I love that. Yes. All right. And who was? I think you got to go a small then, because Finlayson is a tall.
Who do I like? Small. Oh, I mean, Charlie Cameron's been all right.
He has. He's kicked a lot of goals.
Kind of want to get someone that's a bit more all around than Charlie.
Can I give you my small?
You go small.
Toby Green.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no.
Green in a pocket.
He deserves that. doesn't he?
Green in a pocket.
He deserves
Absolutely. I would.
I want to pick another tall instead of a small
on.
and a big.
I'll pick 2 smalls if you pick 2 talls. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Done.
Who's your other tall?
Oscar Allen.
Yep. Allen at full forward. Love it.
Yep.
And I
Absolutely love it. And who is your
Well,
tall, Monty? Keep in mind, we haven't got Charlie Curnow or Jeremy Cameron yet. So
Cameron's dropped off.
Cameron's dropped off to
He has
the
dropped
league.
Curnow, I don't rate.
No, me neither.
who are you going to go for a tall then?
That's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's very tough.
Todd Marshall's a dead-eye dick, but he's
Can't
dropped
even
off.
put Danaher
Yeah.
in there because he's had
Danaher's a
some.
spud.
He is a spud and a half.
Who are you gonna go?
Lance's career's done. I'm just trying to think of all the big boys.
So we're going to go like who?
I mean, Okay, we got to keep in mind that this is the mid-season, mid-year.
Yeah,
so we could really
Who's been
do the
good?
start of the year.
Who's been good?
Jezza has been good at the start of the year. King is coming.
I'd be happy to
King
put.
is coming,
I'd
but
be
he's
happy.
just not-
I'd be happy to put Jezza in. He
now.
has dropped off, but
Yeah, I'd be happy to
he
put
was
Jezza in as
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he lights back up for the back half
So
of the season,
Jezza at centre half forward, you
Yeah.
reckon?
I
Jezza?
would say, yeah.
So now I'm doing 2 smalls. All right, you're gonna love
Oh,
this.
hang on. Did you just text?
Would you replace Jezza with Tex? Do you
could
want to do
replace
that?
Oscar Allen with text.
you could
No,
go.
that's Corey's pick. That's Corey's pick.
Alan's in.
No,
Alan's in.
Alan's in.
No, I can't stand text.
All right, so now I'm
nobody
going to
can.
go with my 2 smalls here.
There we go.
Small
There we
slash
go.
generals.
Let's see what
I
we
did
got.
this in my All-Australian team in the TikTok. I'm going to go
Go on then.
on a half-forward flank,
You're right.
Brian Myers.
No.
Yes, I am.
You're fucking kidding
Leading
me.
the competition
Oh.
in goal assists.
But
the best kick going inside 50 in the competition.
Besides
he is
Jason
top 10 in
Horne-Francis.
score. He's statistically better. It's
What?
statistically better.
Really?
Brian Myers
Surely
is
the-
having the season of his life.
But he has a stupid name.
He does have a stupid name.
His
That's
face
actually-
looks weird.
That's
He
pretty good.
shaved his dreadlocks.
It looks
so
worse.
that is a plus for him.
He's become more
Half forward
aerodynamic.
flank, Brian Myers,
Oh.
book it. I will not be argued on this
Wow.
point.
That's-
Brian
he's got
Myers
good
is
points.
in
I'm
the
gonna, have to, I'm
team.
gonna have to sleep on that one. That's a lot.
He's
To,
got
Leading
that's
the
a lot to
competition
take
in goal assists.
Yeah, he
Okay,
is.
fair.
Score
He is,
involvements are a very easy stat to pad because all you need to do is be involved in the chain of possessions leading up to it. Goal assist is legit.
different.
You
The
kick
end-
it to a
the
bloke, he kicks a goal. Brian Myers is like 10 ahead of the next
Fair
guy.
enough.
He is, and then
Goal
the-
assist would be classed as
Who's your next
assist
fella?
in the NBA.
in the other pocket, I'm inclined. If I was every other All-Australian selector mid-year, I would be picking Charlie Cameron, but I'm not going to pick Charlie Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Isaac Rankin.
Oh, I like that.
Rankin.
Yes,
Yeah,
I like
he
that.
deserves that.
I think we need some Crom representation in the team.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, I'm sorry, Monty.
No,
I think
no, no,
Rankin,
I've just thought.
Charlie
We were all in
Cameron,
on Crom a
Charlie
couple of weeks
Cameron
ago.
is a bit of a Gabba flat track bully.
Yes.
Correct.
Well,
He will kick-
they all are.
He will kick 5 at the Gabba and
Yeah.
then kick 0
It's
the
like
next
Nat
week. at the G.
Nui in Perth.
Yeah. So I think Rankin is a more dynamic player, and he's more when he's on. He is arguably the best pure small forward in the comp to me.
I like that.
To me, he
I
is.
can,
Can I
I'll-
change
I'll,
Jezza?
I'll put that into
Are
a
you gonna
graphic.
who are you changing to?
Jack Lukosius.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, it's a hot take, but I don't mind
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Lukosius.
I'll
And he's
do
got
this
a
up.
massive kick.
I'll
too.
do
Put
this
him in
up
half
as
forward,
a
yeah.
I'll do this up as a halfway point graphic
Yes.
for
So
our
now
Instagram.
we go to the interchange.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot there's more.
So
Okay.
there is an interchange.
4.
Yep.
So I'm going to pick my first guy that I need on the interchange as a backup inside mid.
Patrick Parnell.
No, it's not going to be Patrick. This is because this was the number one comment that I had on my team for the TikTok one that I didn't put in. I wanted to put him in. I was aware of him. I just couldn't fit him because the midfield was stacked. Jordan Dawson. I'm going
Okay, yeah,
Jordan
I like that.
Dawson
I'll
on
bet-
the bench. So try not to pick a midfielder, boys.
I'll
It's
back
So,
that
okay.
up.
well,
The lizard for me.
Jordan Dawson
Lizard.
plays back and mid.
Yeah,
So
but he's been mid this year.
Yeah,
He's been midfield.
I'm taking the lizard.
So we got Dawson, Blakey.
I think Lizard and Nick Martin are on the same level.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And who would you pick? We don't have a backup forward on the bench. You
What do you reckon?
TJ,
Can I pick
jump in.
mid forward?
You can pick a mid forward. Yeah, you can absolutely do it.
Connor Rosie.
Rosie,
Yeah,
yeah,
stick
look,
him in. He
you've
deserves
got to
that.
do it. You've got to do it.
Can't have Butters without
And
without
for the
Rosie.
last spot on the bench, we
we
do need a.
Should we
I
get
think-
another ruck?
We
No.
need we could probably go Marshall or Darcy maybe, like if we need a backup ruckman, because the bench is looking not super tall.
tall.
Like Dawson,
Yeah, you need
Blakey,
another
Rosie.
tall.
We need a big boy.
Need another
We
tall.
need a big boy on the bench, I think.
Oh goodness! What about Mason
Yeah,
Cox, mate?
Scotty Lycett's been really good the last 7 weeks.
Lycett's
but I don't
been
think
good.
Yeah.
I
You know, he's
think,
Mr. Durable.
I think Marshall's been very good for St Kilda.
Who's a guy that will take a hit out, but also play? Oh, Luke Jackson.
Luke Jackson.
Jackson.
Luke Jackson.
I actually don't mind
Yeah, I
Luke
like that.
Jackson.
I like that.
Yeah, look, let's go. It's a bit of an
Carrying
outlandish.
the team a little
A
bit.
little bit, yeah.
It's
Well, hang on. Can you put Darcy on the bench?
Darcy Cameron.
No. Sean Darcy.
Sean Darcy.
As a halfway point, sure, but
Yeah,
he's
well,
still
that's what
out.
we're doing.
He's still out for another couple of
Oh,
weeks.
that's
you
what
know.
we're doing. We're only doing a halfway point.
I
I'd
think
pick Darcy.
Nah, look,
Jackson-
I think Jackson.
For what the bench is, I think
dual
Jackson
role.
is like a dual role.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, because when I do up an All Australian team,
Yep.
I'm not thinking yes, it's who's been the best, but also how is he going to complement who's on the field? And Luke Jackson will complement this team. So that's our team. And honestly, I fucking like it.
I like that.
I think it's pretty good.
I'll do it up into a nice graphic.
We'll do it a nice graphic.
Put it up on
The
Instagram.
grind
I
one
really
gets
like
me,
it.
but it makes complete sense.
Grind does make complete
And
sense.
Errol on the wing is just...
No, what Errol's been fantastic.
What are you talking about?
He's been fantastic. So we've got a little bit of time for In Other News to round out this episode of the pod. What have you got in other news, boys? We'll start with Corey.
Well, the F1 happened. Not a lot to report.
I'm shocked.
Qualifying.
Did Verstappen win?
He did.
I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it. This has never happened before.
Qualifying had a lot of drama. It was very torrential rain.
Yep.
The pastry chef caused pandemonium.
Did he make a crash, did he?
He had a crash in
Q3,
Piastri,
yes.
which locked a few interesting characters in positions that they wouldn't otherwise be because it took time off. Hot laps were cancelled. Alex Albon made it into Q3, which was great for Williams. They're a very shit team.
Yes.
But in the end, not a great race, and it ended up as Verstappen, the Nando, and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, well,
as
that's
it
pretty...
has tended to be.
That's pretty standard,
this
isn't
season,
it? Yeah,
yes.
okay. Well, so nothing happening in the Formula One, as Corey just said. Have you got any other news items
the Ashes
there,
are on?
Corey? The Ashes are on. I haven't watched a minute of it.
As soon as we wrap up tonight, I'll be cranking back into it. But it has been a great test.
I
have heard that,
I regret not watching it.
So we needed, as of Stumps last night, we need about 174, and it's been going for an hour as we speak. But I have not checked.
Are you going to watch it on delay?
No, I'll watch it live.
Okay,
And we need we made 100 last night. 100 for 3. So Smith's gone, Warner's gone. And I think Labuschagne is gone. So it's up to Kawaja to make 175 odd.
Which he can do.
He can do it.
And we've got 7 wickets.
Yeah,
so.
you got wickets in hand. Just need a good partnership or two.
Yes,
she'll be right.
So we'll see.
A follow-up on the news story we had last week of Zion Williamson being attempted to be extorted by adult film actress Mariah Mills. Now, there has been a development.
This is insane.
There's been a development in this story. Not only has she just kept popping the fuck off on Twitter, one of the tweets that she did in the past couple of days, I believe it was a day or two ago.
Might have been yesterday, yeah.
Might have been yesterday. She have you got it here,
I can
Monty?
bring it up on Twitter.
Can you pull it
I'm
up
a
on
fiend.
her Twitter account?
What is it? At Mariah Mills?
Mariah Mills,
Something
like
about
MO.
sex tape or something, isn't it?
Yeah, she has said. I'll let Monty read out the quote.
God, there's so many fake Mariah Mills accounts.
Oh, surely she's got a blue check by now.
Hang on.
She's been banging an NBA player. How does she not have a blue check?
You got to pay for Elon. You got to pay
Oh
Elon.
yeah, you got to pay.
Got to pay you $16
bucks
a
pay
month.
the $16 a month. So you don't need to bang an NBA player. You just need to succumb to the temptations of capitalism.
So I can't believe how insane this
got
is.
it.
You've got it. Read it out, Monty.
At NBA,
She tags the association.
Yeah.
She tags the NBA.
You got to tag him.
at NBA, I have sex tapes of me and Zion and at Zion Williamson.
How dumb is this guy, man?
And he also,
Why would you do it?
He's got to be as dumb as a house priest.
Go, keep going, keep going.
and he also has them on his trap phone.
Yeah.
At Pelicans NBA.
Oh, so she's tagged the team, the New Orleans Pelicans, as well.
At Pelicans
She's
NBA.
on a warpath. She's
unreal.
on a warpath.
And at Pelicans NBA, trade him now. He doesn't deserve to be in New Orleans. Sex tapes dropping soon.
I would trade him to the Hornets
just to
personally.
pull this apart a little bit.
yeah.
So she's got the sex tapes. And
He apparently he does as well.
so last week when we were talking about this lady, does she want money or something?
I think she's just very upset because she feels betrayed,
Right.
and also she's getting her 15 minutes.
So
I think
the thing where she says he doesn't deserve to be a pelican, like what does that mean?
it's funny because Pelican's such a
it's-
dumb
the
team
two
mascot.
the two things have got nothing to do.
Yeah, no, it's
You had
look.
sex with a weird Twitter hooker.
She's
therefore-
actually a very famous adult film actress.
Therefore, you don't deserve.
Yeah, she's
you
quite
don't
famous.
deserve
Yeah.
to be a pelican. What team does allow that kind of
Charlotte
thing.
Hornets, they would absolutely allow it.
There's some more NBA
That
news there.
segues right into another piece
Michael
of news.
Jordan. I would just say, before we get into Michael Jordan selling the ownership of the Hornets, which was my beautiful segue, just imagine if the equivalent of this story of Mariah Mills and Zion Williamson happened in the AFL. Like, so
God.
there would be... So
They'd sanction it, bury it, done.
Imagine. So imagine a guy like...
Well, we had the Wayne Carey thing and the Gary Lyon thing.
like a Jamara Ugle-Hagan, let's say, number one draft pick like Zion Williamson
Yes.
was, all the potential in the world, but perhaps hasn't made his way into the first team as much as he would like to.
Yep.
Not saying Jamara Ugle-Hagan is undisciplined like
No,
Zion.
he's a
he
good
seems
boy.
like a lovely guy
He's a
and
good
very dedicated, but just hypothetically, contextually, they occupy the same status and fame.
Correct.
So Jamara Ugle-Hagan has an affair with a porn star, and that spills after he announces that he's gotten another OnlyFans model pregnant. And then this porn star goes nuts on Twitter saying, Jamara Ugle-Hagan, I have sex tapes of you. I'm going to leak them to the press. I'm going to do this. Again, not a knock on you, Jamara Ugle-Hagan. You're fantastic. You seem like a lovely
Yeah, you
guy.
could bang
This
whoever
is
you like.
just
Jamara was-
finding an equivalent player.
Wasn't Jamara dating Fev's daughter?
He was dating.
Yeah.
She's not even his
right.
daughter. She's his stepdaughter, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So she's taken the Favola name.
Look, the Australian media would go batshit.
Imagine the reaction to this.
They'd all
Imagine.
collectively have a big Noah about it.
They would have a big Cumberland. They would.
They would.
But
The
we
amount
would
of
never,
legs that
we
story
would
would have.
never recover. Like, this
No.
would be the biggest story, not only in Australian football news, but in Australian news. This would take over the
Yeah,
Voice to
it would.
Parliament referendum.
We love
This
salacious
We
stuff.
love salacious shit.
Yeah, we do.
So thank God it hasn't. Thank God. Like, the chooks would be out. They would be feeding. But now, back into the other actual real basketball story.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan has
Michael
sold
Jordan, yeah.
the Hornets.
Yep.
He had ownership of the Hornets,
I've heard that it's a 22x profit.
Yes.
So he's
correct.
which is not hard to do. Michael Jordan is not a good businessman
No,
for
he's
doing
a
this.
terrible
He's
businessman.
a terrible businessman.
If he
Like,
had have managed the
He
team
makes
well, it
so
could have been a
much money,
50x.
Yeah, yeah, well, I get what
you
you
could
mean, yeah.
literally insert that with any NBA team and the profit margin would be the same.
So
the
he's-
profit margin would be the same. It's just due to the
Yep.
NBA having a massive explosion in popularity at the turn of the century after he bought the team. And he's been an owner for, I think, 17 years, 15 years, thereabouts.
And they've been terrible
They've
the
been
entire
terrible.
time.
They've
Every year.
drafted poorly. They've traded poorly.
Charles Barkley has gone on record making fun of him,
Yeah.
dragging him out for being bad.
Yeah.
And the criticism is that he only employed and hired friends.
Yep.
And they all became yes men.
Yes.
So no one's ever said, "Hey, Mike, that's a bad idea."
They have not won a single
Who's going to,
playoff.
I'm not going to say no to Michael Jordan.
No,
I
you
wouldn't
wouldn't,
either.
would you?
They have not. The Charlotte Hornets, since Michael Jordan took over as owner, has not. The franchise hasn't won a single playoff series since that has
And
happened.
they were a great team.
Oh, back in the
They
day.
used to be like
they were fantastic.
Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues,
Muggsy
like,
Bogues, yeah,
insanely
yeah.
good '90s team, insanely good, and they are still yet to win an NBA
So
championship.
the rumor was that if they got the draft pick and got Wembanyama, he was going to not sell it.
Yeah, well, that
is-
would
which
do
is
it.
insane.
That would do it. But it's also combined with Charlotte not really being a destination team. No one wants to go there. But it's a bit of, chicken or the egg. Like, are they not a destination team because they're shit, or are they shit because they're not a destination team? Like, it's a bit of both. But
Well,
still,
he's going to make $4 or $5 billion or something like that.
yeah, he's bought out for
That's
about
pocket change for him.
4 to 5 billion.
probably
How
makes
much, how much does he make a day on the Jordan brand?
Oh, I think it's a $500 million or $1 billion a year on Nike.
It's
He makes more in a day from the Jordan brand than he did his entire NBA
not a
career.
day goes by that I am not ridiculously thankful that the AFL doesn't have private ownership of teams.
Oh, it's crazy.
I hate the idea of
Yeah,
that
fuck that.
happening.
Fuck
Imagine being the Collingwood Footy Club or the Port Adelaide Footy Club being at the whims of some billionaire fuckhead. Like, it would just be awful.
wild.
It would just be awful. Anyone else got any other sporting news
I have
or
a
news
very
in general?
small piece
Yes?
for those wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, shoot it.
Yeah, this was huge. So, the bloodline,
For
Monty.
yeah, well,
hell's
man,
the
if you love professional wrestling for the storytelling,
That's what it is.
that's what it is, man.
The fuck is that?
Uso, Ua,
Well,
Roman, the Usos.
Man, This story was 3 years in the making.
Yeah. So
3
Roman
years.
Reigns, I'll give you a bit of context
I'm
because
aware of Roman
I don't watch
Reigns.
the modern product, but I keep aware of it.
He's
when
been
I was
champion
watching,
for 1,000 plus days.
when I got back into wrestling as an adult around 2016 time, I watched for about 3 years, 3 or 4 years, and then I stopped when COVID happened because I just fell out of love with it, I guess. Still love it, but I don't watch it avidly. Roman Reigns was hated as a babyface, meaning a good guy. He just won all the time. He held the belt. The fans fucking hated it. They booed all the time because Roman wins.
You're forcing new John Cena
You're
onto
forcing
us,
new John
basically.
Cena without the charisma. At the time, Roman was not as good of a promo as
absolutely
John
not.
Cena.
No way.
So now, when COVID hits, they finally turn Roman heel. Roman goes into a bad guy.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time
when
coming.
I see pictures
Fans
of him,
have wanted to boo him for
I've
so
always
long,
thought
and
that he
now they
was
have
bad.
a reason to do it.
I always thought he was bad.
He looks like a you know,
He's
a
got the
jock,
long
like a
black
bully.
hair.
He does.
He looks evil. He's always wearing the black.
And now they've done it, and they give Roman the belt, and he's held it for 3 years.
Yeah. Over 1,000 days. And
Talk
then,
us through it, Monty.
So what he's they formed the bloodline because Roman is of
Samoan
descent.
He's the Rock cousin.
He's the Rock's
Racist.
cousin, and his other cousins are the Uso twin brothers, and their and their younger brother Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa.
The three
Good
of them,
name.
the
You
three,
could-
I reckon he'd be very good at rugby league. Very good.
the three of them. Side note, are Rikishi's sons.
Yes.
Oh,
Big fat
okay,
ass
that's
Rikishi.
good.
Yeah.
That's good
Rikishi
context.
of
I love Rikishi.
iconic stable Too Cool.
He
So-
died recently, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
no.
he didn't.
Rikishi-
Umaga died when we were children.
Umaga. I like
We were
Umaga.
much younger.
Umaga.
Rikishi's brother, Rikishi's brother's son was Umaga.
Yep.
Rikishi's sister is the Rock's mum. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
the
I didn't know
I think they're all.
It's the bloodline,
What's the
Corey.
bloodline?
It's the
Fuck.
So
bloodline.
this
They're
Samoan.
ancestral, are these people?
No, so this
It's the entire
Samoan
population
thing-
of Samoa is
Yeah,
in the
this Samoan
WWE.
ancestry is hugely deep seated into professional wrestling in general. So you've got Roman, who's the head of the bloodline,
Head of the table.
head of the table,
Head of the table.
head of the table.
And he's evil.
Yeah.
He's
And
bad.
Yeah, he's evil.
Yeah.
He's a
And then,
narcissistic
and then
bully.
you've
Yeah.
got the
We like the
so
bad
the time
guys,
you had him, he's champion for 1,000 days. You got the Usos who were tag team champions for 2 years or whatever.
They are his lackeys.
They're
They are his
And then
lackeys.
Solo's like the enforcer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they are managed by Paul Heyman, who's arguably the greatest.
Yeah, I know.
Best,
I know
one of
about
the best
Paul Heyman.
promos ever
Ever.
to do it.
Ever.
Yes.
Like brought Brock Lesnar up. And then turned and went to Roman Reigns, and that's what
Yes.
solidified
Yes,
Roman
yes.
as the bad guy because everyone wanted to hate Brock
Yeah.
because they were forcing Roman as the good guy and Brock as the bad guy, and then Heyman just switched and went.
Yep.
And went.
No one does it like Paulie Dangerous.
Well,
yes.
Finally, after 3 long years, the Usos have finally turned.
Turned on Roman.
And it happened in England.
it was a
So
very
they're 2v1ing him?
on,
Or-
a, on,
dramatic.
on an episode of SmackDown. You gotta.
I might watch this later.
Man,
It is good.
It is so dramatic because
He doesn't see it coming?
So Sami Zayn randomly wanted to be in part of the bloodline because he wanted
As the
success.
white guy, as their
the
white
guy.
friend.
You need
As
the
the white
white.
friend.
You need the
It was
white
really
guy.
funny.
And
it was
then
really
they've like that was a great storyline
It
too
was,
because they
it was.
finally accepted him as one of them. Like an
He was an
honorary.
honorary Uso. That
Right?
was yeah.
Good
it was
Lord.
so good.
Then he turned on Roman, got belted for it.
Yeah, they all kicked him to death.
Right.
Yes.
They all kicked him so badly.
Yeah, he's dead.
Then Jimmy Uso had enough.
Yeah.
He turned, and then Jay on SmackDown, he's like, Jimmy, you out.
Yeah.
You're out. You're out of the bloodline. And then
You're
Roman's
out of the
you're
out of the Dom Toretto
yeah.
family.
What
Yep.
you're saying
Family.
is tonight after we finish recording,
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching a lot of
You're going to
wrestling
be watching a
on
lot of
YouTube.
wrestling. Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
just
yeah.
watch the recap on YouTube.
So this was a
And then-
3-year
So if I
build
search
to
Roman
this
Reigns,
the demise of the bloodline. Yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah.
turn. Yeah.
So Jimmy's gone, turn on Roman, and Jay, his twin brother's gone, I'm picking Roman over you. You're out. You're out of the bloodline. And then paused, and then went, and I'm out too. Turns around, super
Smacks
kicks
him.
Roman in the head.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that.
It's so good.
Love
It's
that.
so
That's,
good.
that's a Shawn Michaels move.
It
it
is.
is.
Oh, they do a good super kick too.
They do a good
They do
super
a
kick.
very good super kick.
Anyway, so that's
yeah,
happened. as well.
amazing scenes in the world of
I
wrestling.
love that.
I've got a little one, just a tiny one to end the podcast. I watched Avatar 2 last night.
Oh, I was kind of meaning to watch it and then just forgot. And
Absolutely loved it.
It's exited.
really?
Loved it. Yeah,
Do I need to watch the first one again after?
Yep.
You know, a
No,
decade?
you don't. No, you don't. Honestly, you don't. Like it does a good job of
Bringing you back in.
Bringing you back in. You're
on.
like, oh, that's this
Yep.
guy. That's right. Okay, yes.
It wasn't
all right.
exactly the deepest of
No,
storylines,
it's
was
not.
it?
James Cameron is not known for like hectic, deep storylines. He's
No.
known for putting you into a world.
Yep, like it.
and 3 hours flew by. I tell you what.
While we're on James Cameron, just
Yeah.
quickly, did you hear about the submarine?
Oh yeah, I did. I only saw this literally
this
2 hours
morning.
before
There's
coming
a
here.
submarine full
What
of billionaires
The fuck.
that went to go. It's a tourist thing to go see
go
the
inspect
Titanic,
the Titanic.
and they've lost it.
And you pay $250,000 as to go and look at the Titanic
They've
in a
lost it.
submarine as a
And there's only
tourist.
3 people on there, and there's 3 people: a content creator,
Yeah.
and a pilot, and a captain.
Yeah.
I feel for the content creator the most.
Yeah, 'cause he's on there with
getting
just this
paid the
billionaire.
least. He's getting paid the least out of
Yeah.
all of them, I think.
The best thing is I had a look at the website for this company.
So just to be clear, the sub has gone missing.
Yeah,
They
it
don't
has-
know where this
Can't find
submarine
it.
At
is.
present, has not been found.
No,
Cannot
so
find
they're
it.
dead, definitely.
They're dead.
No. They've got 4.5 days of oxygen
What?
in there.
I didn't know that.
So they've got 4.5 days of oxygen in there.
I hope the
so that-
content creator is filming, man.
Dude,
I
if
hope
they
he's filming.
survive this, that content creator is going to
That's a
release
movie.
the most fire documentary.
Yeah, dude.
But
Of
listen
all
to this.
time.
I looked at the website, and there's a disclaimer on there that there's no guarantee that the submarine is up to the task. It's like they don't take any responsibility for anything.
There is also
It's-
a picture of
and
the
it's a
controller
it's
for
a
the
very
submarine.
shittily made website. It looks so dodgy.
There is a
Really?
picture of the controller for this submarine.
It's an Xbox controller.
It is literally a GameCube controller from 2003.
Hell yeah, dude.
It has an A, B, X, Y, and
Hell yeah,
joysticks
dude.
on it. I'm not fucking
Well, you know,
kidding.
that's how they control drones that like bomb people is with an Xbox controller.
The
Wow.
decline of the West cannot come soon enough. It cannot come soon enough. We deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. That
fuck
might
me.
wrap us up for this
Well,
episode this
we
week.
just wanna-
unless you've
we
got anything
hope-
else, boys.
No, well, we hope that they survive.
Oh, of course. No, I don't wish death upon anybody.
No,
Of course.
I want them to survive just for the movie that'll come out
Yeah.
of it.
Of course.
It's a 1.5 kilometer radius that they can be in,
And it's deeper than that.
4 Ks down.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And they've got US Navy, Coast Guard, everyone out there looking.
Yeah.
And they're trying to just get a beacon to ping back.
Well,
just
get it.
so they know
if
where
they
to go.
can't, it must not be emitting anything, which is not good.
Which means it's been compressed to
It probably
death.
got crunched
By
like
the
a
pressure.
tin can under your foot, and that's
Yeah.
why they can't find it because it just doesn't exist anymore.
God,
That's brutal. On that note, what a happy day to end the happy note to end the
We'll
podcast.
have
on.
the tipping episode coming out
Tipping
after
and
this.
mailbag coming up that we will be recording after this. But have a good rest of your week on behalf of the Barely Touched Him podcast.
wow. What a beautiful audience.
Wow, what a great audience. What a great audience.